Did you know goldenrod makes an excellent tea?
Happy birthday to me. Happy birthday, dear Aaron.
Me. You are a sad, strange little man, and you have my pity.
Or what's inside. You suck. Finally, we're going to reveal the... Hey everybody, welcome back to Tomic's veteran of the comic book industry for 30 years I'm a writer, I'm an artist, and this sucks.
Episode, The Thrill Killers, Part 2.
Don't start! We haven't left yet!
Woo! Let's go! Oops. I don't know why the background thing didn't show up on the what do you call it? The thumbnail, I guess, did not show up on the YouTube feed. It should be there, but it's not there. But you just saw it, so you know it's there, but it's not showing. I don't know why. Okay, so yeah, it's just me. It's just Aaron. Here's the problem. My mom's knee is acting up, so I can't leave her alone with the dog, right? Because she can't get around very well, the bum knee. So Shelley and my daughter, who's home for spring break, went down to see the baby. So that's where they're at. And I stayed home to look after mom. And so that's where she's at right now. So she feels fine. But she just ain't with us today because she's with the baby. So, you know, priorities. There you go. But me, I'm here. I'm here for you. I'm fidgeting in my chair. Do you notice that I fidget all the time? I was one of those kids. I could not sit still, and now I'm an adult who can't sit still. But anyway, so I am here, and the show will go on as it always does. Thank you for joining me. And wow, we've got a lot of stuff to cover today. We're going to do a little creators corner as well today. But I went to a toy show this weekend, and I continually swear up and down that I will never buy any more toys because I have no place to put them. And yet I went to a toy show. And depending on how you look at it, it either ended really well or it didn't end well. But anyway, we shall see a little bit. I videotaped a little bit of my adventures at the toy show. I wasn't really happy with my voiceover when I did it. So I'll probably show you the videos silently, and then I will comment here so I can provide you with even worse voiceover. But anyway, before we do all of that, let's see who's here. Mark Pengrin's here. He says, Shelley or we riot. Well, Mark, you better start throwing stuff at the screen because you've already figured out by now that there ain't no Shelley tonight. 40% Zed is here. He says, is it me or is there no thumbnail? There is no thumbnail, and I don't know why. Just technology frustrates me. We need to go back to the good old days. Creative Faye is here. Creative Face says she was saddened today by seeing a dumpster where I live someone threw out their entire library of books. You know, some books, depending on what you get, you know, some of them have resale value, some of them just don't. And it's like, sometimes you can't give them away. Like Stephen King books used to be that way. I used to work when I was in high school. I worked in this used bookstore, and it was like people would try and bring in certain books. And we go, okay, well, I got 40 copies of that, you know? So like really big bestsellers, you know, that were previously big bestsellers. It's like, you can only take so much of that stuff, and then you can't because it sold so many copies. And so what do you end up doing? Recycling them. Or in this case, throwing them in the dumpster because you can't get rid of them. You don't want them in your house anymore. No one else will take them. What do you do? It's at least they weren't burning them. I guess that would be worse. Dan, the pizza man, Genovese is here. Barbara Paulson is here. Sequential artist. If you sound it out, here it is here. Citizen Ronan, of course, is here. The Geek Easy, Marcus Killer Group, purveyor of all things pop culture knowledge, is joining us. Randy Howell, all the way from Canada. And let's see. There's Citizen Ronan again. H is for Heretic. Richie Dupe. Geek Avengers here. Stippling Vaughn is here. He says, don't start. I haven't left yet. We're starting. Let's see here. Louis Brightraven is here. I'm surprised he's not talking about dinner he's making for himself right now, but maybe he will later. The Geek Easy, did I already say that? I don't think I did. Let's see here. Who else? Stealth X5 is here. No Madaman is here. No Madaman bought some original artwork from me on the, I think. Did you get the Thing? Was it the Thing? Smoking the cigar picture from Graham Nolan's charity auction. Tippy Tail McKitty is here, says Lopez. It is me. Squeaky's here because, of course, we know that Squeaky's not far behind Geek Avenger. Kevin Thomas is here. Gary Bruce is here. What is it? False advertisement, Aaron Kahn. What? I didn't advertise Aaron Kahn. Did I advertise Aaron Kahn? I don't think I advertised Aaron Kahn. I said toy show. If I had advertised Aaron Kahn, I would have done something like this. Yeah, well, I didn't do that. So I don't know what you're accused. People are always accusing me of stuff. I don't do anything. Halder 6480 is here. Let's see here. Wait, how? Yeah, Sammy doesn't drive. Yeah, Sammy doesn't drive. And Dino Palazzo, he wants to know what I bought. Oh, we'll get to that. We will get to that. Let's see here. Henry Bemis, all the way from Oregon, is joining us. Sand and Metal is here. Elite Selly Toys must have seen the blurb and said, "Ooh, toy fair, toy show. I'm going." Christina Lynn is here. Thanks for joining us, Christina. Appreciate you dropping in. Good to see you. Let's see. Pantheon is here. Andio Palazzo, of course, is he's always the best, well-mannered, considerate, kind person in the chat. And so that's why I gave you one of those. And let's see here. Heat Miser's here. John Durham. How about that? Daniel Russell made it in. We're always glad to see Daniel. The Beam Pad is here. New Age Leper. Eric Hayes. Ryo Stu 10-8 Comics. 10-8 Comics, of course. Kiefer Malkuth. Good day, Aaron. Let's hear about your favorite toys. Bretsky the Great is here. Joe Lowe is here. Jolly Green said, Jimmy Reyes said I'm cool. Well, Jimmy Reyes throws around compliments, so you never know. You never know if you can trust Jimmy. We may be talking to Jimmy later in the show. We'll see if he shows up. Well, why would anybody recognize me at a toy fair? I'm not like a toy guy. I'm a comic book guy. Of course, they wouldn't have recognized me at the comic book show either. But at least I don't feel bad when they don't recognize me at a toy show. But anyway, let's that seems to be about everybody that wants to chat at the moment. So let's get this show moving. Please, people, please take a moment and subscribe because I desperately need it. Yeah, hit that like and subscribe. Gosh darn it. Okay, I appreciate it very much. And there you go. Show's over. Thanks for joining us. Let's do this.
Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.
I got nothing. I ate a graham cracker, or pardon me, a graham cracker before I came on. Does that constitute? But I do have Snapple iced tea in here. I don't know what to pour out. I am tired. I stayed up too late last night. A little shot of caffeine, a little sugar in there. Makes it all go down so very, very nicely. So I hope you're all enjoying some sort of snack. You won't get the pleasure of watching me chew with my mouth open today, though. All right. Well, I told Jimmy to come in at 4:30, and of course, in Jimmy's the inevitable way that Jimmy operates, he's here early. So I'm going to bring him in early because I can't stand to watch someone just suffer in the green room. There's no snacks back there. There's no radio. There's no nothing. I just can't let him rot back there. So let's do this, and we'll get to Frazetta in a minute, but let's do this first. Yeah, it's time once again for Creators Corner, where we bring in your favorite creators or sometimes your least favorite creators to talk about whatever they're doing right now. And ladies and gentlemen, please, all the way from San Antonio, Texas, please welcome Mr. Jimmy Reyes. There he is. Hey, Jimmy.
Aaron doesn't even put the AC on in the green room. It's hot back there.
Hey, my 92-year-old mom is always freezing, so I'm always cranking up the heat, and my wife's like, ugh. But I run a little cold myself, so. And it is cold and rainy and windy here. It's probably warm in San Antonio, isn't it?
Well, no, actually, usually it's really, really hot, but right now in San Antonio, it's crazy. We're getting California weather. It's like an 86, 87 degrees right now.
Really?
I'm wearing a long sleeve.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean,
that's cold weather for you, right? Is 86, 87?
Yeah. Man, 80 degrees in San Antonio. I'm like, nah, let's just stay inside in front of the fireplace. I don't want to go out.
Roast some marshmallows.
Yeah, we're like, yeah, let's roast some taquitos over the fire. That's the way we do it the Latin way,
Taquitos.
But thank you, Aaron. I mean, I didn't mean to interrupt. I was actually fine with sitting in the back. I mean, me, I'm Hispanic. I'm used to waiting in line. I'm okay with it.
Not anymore. You have to come straight in now.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Biden's like, go right in.
That's right. I'm going to welcome you into the show and give you a free phone card. So it's
awesome.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
So your wife, is she Cuban? Is that right? Or am I mistaken?
Yeah, she's Cuban.
Okay,
and Dominican.
She cooks that spicy Cuban cuisine for you, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Cuban and Dominican. Her mother's Dominican, so and her father's Cuban, so she learned to make both from them.
Nice.
Yeah.
There's nothing quite like good cooking. They used to make a joke about that, right? Like in the back in the day, like in the 50s, they would say, the perfect wife is, something and a great cook, right? And that's sort of that hang on now. That's sort of kind of been a lost art form. A lot of women don't cook, younger women don't cook. So I cook because my younger woman doesn't cook. She can, but I'm a better cook than she is. So
really? Yeah.
But I let her do all the baking because baking requires me to follow instructions, and I don't really do that very well. So if she wants baked goods or bread or she bakes, but I do all the food prep, the dinner and stuff like that.
Wow.
So, my son, I don't have to do laundry. She does the laundry. So at least I got that going for me, which is nice.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Jimmy, why are you here? Why did you want to come on the show? I know
Well,
why, because you want to talk about your crazy campaign. Actually, before we bring that up, let me ask you a question. What brought you? How did you get into the mainstream? What was your what was your first opportunity that sort of got you into, because you were working with Finch, right? I mean, you
yeah.
had to.
Well,
Okay, so was he your first guy that you were working with? Did you like jump in and just start working on Finch?
mainstream, yes,
Okay,
but
how'd that happen?
I actually started in 1991, and I started working with independent companies, and I stayed independent, and I was working part time because I could never go full time because I had a mortgage and I had children. I needed benefits and the 401k. So I always stayed in a web development. I was always a web designer or graphic designer for a national magazine, and I just did inking part time. And my first wife, believe it or not, Aaron, she was ashamed that I was a comic artist. That she would lie to people and tell them I was a drug dealer.
Guess it depends on the neighborhood you live in, right?
Yeah. It depends on the
street
area, the community, you know. But yeah, she was really ashamed of it. She was always hoping I'd quit and always trying to discourage me. And she made it tough, you know, for me to get work done and sabotage projects. And
that seriously.
oh yeah, it was bad. It was rough. And then eventually that marriage ended. Because you know I can't have a woman spilling my ink. You know, it's like
No, absolutely not. You just that's
a quick way to that's a quick way to end the marriage. You know, don't go around spilling an inker's ink.
Well,
So
Shelley was okay. Shelley became okay with me being a comic artist as soon as she found out there was like a couple people wanted my autograph. She was like, "Oh, you must be famous." And I'm like, "Yeah, that's it. That's it." And so that tricked her, and I've been fooling her ever since. But
well, I think my first wife was under the misconception that there were groupies. She thought maybe it was like rock and roll or something, you know.
well,
And,
Image had groupies. I
yeah,
never
they
had
did.
any. But the
Yeah,
Image
me
guys,
either.
Dale had some groupies hanging around the old pit table back in the day.
I think Dale still got some groupies. I think Dale's still.
He's got the rock and roll hair going, and you know.
Yeah, he's got the rock and roll hair and the he's got the Jesus fit body like Jesus, you know. And no, so you know, I was in Independence, and I was in Independence part time, and I stayed with that mentality of comics are bad. I always felt ashamed, and I quit comics several times, and but I like, you know, I have this drive inside. I cared about comics. I loved art, and art's who I am. And I was like, Art T Bear, I don't care what she says, she can't come between us. No, so I always wanted to do art. It's who I am. It's where I'm happy. And after the marriage ended, I got diagnosed with heart failure, got very sick, and then I battled that. And when I got better in 2016, I decided, you know, I'm going to start YouTube and start a YouTube channel. And I just started to share with everybody comic book inking. And I put up a video online, and then I got an email because my email is attached to my, you know, our emails are attached to our YouTube channels. So I got an email, and it's from Meredith Finch, and Meredith Finch said, "Hey, Dave came across your video where you're inking his work, and he wants to know if you would work with him." And I thought it was a prank. Like I don't think that's how it works. I don't think a guy in a top artist in the industry finds you on YouTube and emails you, you know? So I blew off the email for about, you know, 30 minutes. You know, I was just like, forget it. Then I came back to it. I can't. What do I do? What do I do if it's real? You know? So I was gonna reply back like, "This isn't funny if this isn't real, but if it is, you know,
this is not funny. Don't ever contact me again."
Yeah. I was like, I thought we're supposed, you after the divorce, you weren't gonna pick on me anymore on art. So being trolled by the ex-wife, you know. No, so I wrote back, and I went. They asked for my phone number, and I was real scared, you know, to give out my number, but I did it anyway. And my phone rings, and on the other side, it's David Finch, and I recognize his voice, you know, because I've seen him interviews on videos on YouTube. But at the time, he didn't really do any YouTube stuff. He just had people posting videos,
right?
And we talked for a while, and it was so cool. And he brought me into the mainstream. And that was how it all happened for me.
That's that's an amazing story, really, in the sense that, like you said, that stuff just generally doesn't happen, or at least not
Yeah.
very often. And it's also interesting to me that you were like YouTubing back in 2016. I had no idea.
Yeah, I actually started my YouTube channel when YouTube had launched back in like 2003 or 5, around there. And I never did anything with it. I just logged in to the YouTube because that was the only way you could make comments.
Mm-hmm.
And back then, YouTube comments were brutal, and I loved it, man. Because
They're not now.
yeah, because I loved it. Like whenever people would post videos, like I'd watch a little girl trying to play a violin. The dad's all excited and he's showing everybody her violin recital. And in the chat, you would just see tons of grown men going, "You're trash, give it up." And they were brutal. And I loved it. And I joined in on it too. I was just as brutal. I go in there and just tell
You're as
people.
bad as the rest of them.
Yeah.
That's what you're telling us.
But in 2016, I figured, I would actually do something legitimate. I'd become one of those people and start posting videos. And luckily for me, in 2016, people weren't as cruel. They were still pretty harsh, but a lot of them were pretty encouraging. And one of my first comments is David Finch. He pops in and he gives a comment in there. So when I got like validation, I guess, by Dave. After that, all the comments at that point are like, "Oh, you must be good."
That's right. Dave is saying nice things about you. I'm not going to trash you anymore. Right?
Yeah,
it'd be nice.
Yeah, people are typing, "You're trash," and they see Dave's comment, they go, "Oh, delete."
That's right. You're awesome, man.
You're the best.
You're the best. You're way better than that little girl playing the violin, man.
Yeah. Oh, they were brutal. It was tough, but
no.
But yeah, if it wasn't for a video, that's crazy to think, right? Like if I hadn't posted a video, who knows where I'd be right now?
Well, it's amazing how things have changed in such a short period of time, where this forum right now is so important to all of us, just not only to get the word out about our books and stuff, but to stay in front of the public eye so that we're relevant creators. And we're just, if all we had to do is if all opportunity we had was to go to shows, and we're not working on anything mainstream, it's like, dude, you're out of sight, out of mind. And so this is so important to maintaining just a profile in this industry, whatever this industry actually means anymore. But it is amazing how quickly things have changed from the mid 90s when, I didn't even know what a cell phone was, to this now. So,
yeah. And the crazy thing too is that there are still a large number of fans out there that don't search YouTube or get on X. They just strictly go to the comic store, and that's their exposure to comics. Like that's all they know,
That's the brutal truth of all this. Because I mean, I don't do that many shows, but I did one in Northern California, San Jose area, I don't know, a month ago or whatever. And I had several people come up and they knew who I was from like Wonder Woman, right? 10 years ago or whatever. And they're like, "So what are you working on now?" Like, you mean for the last 10 years or just, and so, you show them the books and they're like, "Oh, I didn't know anything about this." And I'm like, really? You're amazed at how many people are just, like you said, they're not dialed into social media. They're not, I don't blame them. I mean, it's just like, that's a brutal world. The world of social media is not a friendly place.
It's YouTube back in 2005.
Yeah, exactly.
And 2005. Yeah.
But you're amazed that someone would walk up to you, be aware of who you are, and not have a clue what you're working on.
Yeah.
Because even I, who never even goes to comic shops anymore, I'll always, every once in a while, type in someone's name and see what they're up to, and go, "Oh, okay, there's this or that,"
Yeah.
But it is amazing that there is still some value in going to shows if we can get anybody to invite us to shows.
Yeah, that's the tough part.
The greater challenge. I know Ethan was talking about going to Washington State SummerCon, and they had contacted him about going. Now, of course, Mark Brooks is their featured guest, so that would be a fun time, right? Yeah, and the guy had talked to me about coming to Washington State SummerCon at San Diego, and I was kind of like him and Han, because I'm like, I'm just lazy. It's like I'm lazy not lazy about work and drawing, but I'm lazy about everything else. Like, do I
Yeah.
really want to drive 4.5 hours to go to the show? And I'm like, no, I really don't. And so everybody's like, go on, you got to go. And then Ethan was going. I'm like, oh, okay. If you're going, okay, I'll go. I'll make the trip. So I contact the guy. I hear nothing back. And then apparently he's ghosting Ethan now, according to
Oh,
Ethan.
wow.
So I don't know that Ethan's going. So so everybody that wants me to go to Washington State SummerCon, all you Washington State people out there, I did what I could do, So
I got an email 2 weeks ago from Corpus Christi convention, and it's about 4 hours away from where I am, and they invited me and said, hey, we'll give you the accommodations, we'll get you your hotel, we'll give you a 10 by 10 table, and we'd like to have you out as a featured guest. And I said, that sounds great, give me more detail and information. And then I guess they may come across somewhere that I'm Comicsgate, and that's it. They ghosted me too.
Yeah, it's it's a funny situation. You have to be in good with, really good with certain promoters that don't give a rip because they've known you for so long, and they're like, yeah, I'm not going to listen to this chatter on social media or whatever, because it really doesn't mean anything. All the people that are complaining are not the people that go to cons, and they're not the people that are customers, and yet somehow they're driving the narrative, and it kind of pisses me off. But I'm not going to say who it was, but I had a dealer that I wanted to bring on the show and just talk about collecting, and he was going to do it. And then he comes up and he emails me and he goes, what is Comicsgate? And I'm like, oh God, here we go. And trying to explain it to him. And he's like, I don't think I should come on. I don't want to, and I understand from a retail standpoint, you kind of want to stay in the middle of everything because you want everybody buying your frequently. You don't want to piss people off. And,
you don't want to alienate any side or whatever.
But it's amazing to me that, that there's always some little worm lurking in the shadows someplace, waiting to hear a name. They go, oh no, that guy's Comicsgate. They're racist, And
how did that even start? Like, I've been in Comicsgate now since 2020, and I've not come across anything that even matched the Wikipedia page. I'm like, why are people so afraid of Comicsgate? Why?
Well, it's the Trump trickle down effect is what it is. And it's becoming, it is funny because it is becoming less and less effective to call someone racist or whatever, because it doesn't mean anything anymore to anybody. And we all just sort of laugh at it, but there's still there's still people that are hardcore social media activists that will do anything they can to, wreck someone else's career because that's the only thing they got going in their life, which is sad and pathetic in and of itself. But it's amazing that there is still some people that are listening to that noise. But like I said, I know a few promoters that have had me to shows at different times, and they're just like, I've known Aaron for 30 years. Shut up. If you don't want to come to the show, don't come to the show, but he's still going to be a guest or whatever. But it doesn't really bother me because I really don't want to go that much anymore.
I've never really been to any conventions. I think in my entire time, I attended one convention, and that's where I got to meet a lot of the Wildstorm guys, and how I got into inking back in like 1991. But then since then, I've only attended 2 conventions as a professional, and I've been invited to many more. But I don't like it. Like, I don't like the packing up everything.
Yes, that's the issue. And the more stuff, when you're publishing yourself, and you got all these books and everything, and you're just like, I got to haul this stuff in there, and then you pray that you sell enough of them that you don't have to haul them all back.
Or you try to clear out as much of that final hour, like exactly 2-for-1 prints or something, get by this issue, I'll throw another one in,
Paul Taylor from our resident biologist from Canada says, Jimmy, are you saying that Wikipedia isn't accurate and maybe politically biased? Say it isn't so.
I'm starting to lean that way. I'm starting
Dan the pizza man, Jimmy's a racist, confirmed. Right there it is. Oh, well, that's, we're all aware of these issues, and, they're just part of what we have to deal with on a daily basis now in this new wild, wild west of comics. Speaking of which, you have a campaign that we like to call Dragon Rage. I think you like to call it that too. There it is. Tell us about it, Jimmy.
Dragon Rage was a project when they did the pencils down. I was about promised work from one of the big two, and they knew I was inking Dave, and they wanted to get him back, and they figured that they could use me to lower him back. So they promised me all these things in 2018, like, oh, we're going to do this for you, we're going to do that for you. Great. Hey, do you think Dave would want to be interested? And and so it was very obvious,
Right. Well, hey,
and so
you take advantage of the situations you get, regardless of why you get them, right?
yeah, I'm like, I've got no weight in here. I got to take what I can, and you know what I mean? It's like you go out with your handsome friend, you go to the club, and he dates the hot chick, and there's a chubby one left over, and you're like, hey,
I was the handsome friend, Jimmy, so that never happened.
Yeah. So, so you don't know what it's like. You don't know what
No.
it's like then.
No.
So you take what you can get, skinny pickings at the end of the night. But so I contact Dave, and I kind of let him know, and I tell him what's going on. And he's like, oh no, I don't have any interest going. I'm already working on this creator own book with another big writer who's got a hit TV show, and we're working on this book. And he says, I'm not going back to superheroes. So he politely writes them. Because he has that kind of pull. He could write the big two and say, nah, I'm not going back to superheroes. And they wrote him and said, hey, Dave, superheroes miss you, blah, 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 all this stuff. So when he writes them back, they get upset and they take it out on me. They ghost me. They take away everything that was on the table for me. And, for him, it was fine. And apparently he's still done work for them since, when he wanted to come back, he would just,
when you hit that level, the Dave Finch level, you can do anything and they will get on their knees and beg for you to come back.
Yeah.
And so that's, I mean, if you're in that position, that's nice. But so do you still keep in touch with him? Because I talked to him at San Diego a little bit, but we're not, buddies or anything, but we're cordial. And, I mean, I like Dave, and I assume he likes me, but I don't know what he's working on. Is he doing an like indie project or something?
He's still working on that creator own project with a very popular writer who has a very
the same one you were referring to.
The same one I was referring to. Since 2018, they've been working on this book. He's drawing the book double side. He's drawing every page is like a double page spread turned on its side. So he's drawing two 11 by 17 artboards, but he's turning them sideways to make it a bigger area for him to draw.
So he's making it twice as hard on himself.
Yeah, twice hard himself. So he's been doing that. And then the writer's got another animated TV show on Amazon. And so he's slowly giving Dave the script 4 pages at a time. Wow. And it's like an 80-page book. So they've been going on this for a long time. But then pencils down, and it went silent, and the pandemic hit, and I was online. And I had already been streaming. I already been doing live streams and doing YouTube videos. And I saw that I was watching and seeing about crowdfunding. And I thought, wow, that's pretty interesting. So in 2018, I started contacting some of the guys in Comicsgate and started saying, hey, I'm an inker. I'm sitting around doing nothing. I don't care at all about whatever comics, people are saying about Comicsgate. I'll ink for you. And so I started breaking in. Getting work that way through the people in Comicsgate, and I started inking a few stuff, and then I started to find out more and more about the crowdfunding scene and what they were doing. And so in 2020, I released Dragon Rage, the first version of it, and Dave Finch did a cover. He helped promote me because at that time I really didn't know very many Comicsgate people, and I wasn't on any Comicsgate channels or anything, and so we launched it on Dave Finch channel, and it did really well. I ran the campaign like a John Malin because I was at that point I was just starting to talk to John Malin. He was doing a 30-day thing, no in demand. So I thought I'd try that, and the book did really well, but I did 30 days, no in demand.
You fool!
I know. Yeah.
Hang on one second. Mad Sock says, "Where's the toy show?" Settle down. We're going to get to the toy show in just a minute. Come on, we gotta look at Dragon Rage, and then we'll take a look at the toys. These guys are you guys are so demanding, Yeah, I'm trying to ease into stuff,
Yeah, I heard you say Frank Frazetta too. I got excited. I was like, oh my god, I love.
There's Frazetta coming up. There's toys. People they're just raging. They're like a rage mob in the chat. Where are my toys at? Toy guys. Comic people are pretty mellow, but toy people, you got to be careful. You got to be careful.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
they're dangerous. They
Stop
used to melt
toying
their
with us,
figures.
Lopez. Mm, oh my
They're
gosh.
gonna melt you like they did their action figures back in
Exactly.
the day.
Yeah, mint in box, baby. Okay.
Yeah,
So anyway, so here we are with your new Dragon Rage Crown of Fire. You're at
yeah,
$43,388. You're in demand right now, smartly, which you weren't on the first one, but now you
yes,
are.
yep.
And so, how far along are you on the book right now?
I've only got about 4 pages left
Oh,
to do now,
there you go.
and all the pages are penciled. They're all laid out, rough pencils underneath, and then all I got to do now is just like render and ink the last set of pages. I've got 4 pages left to render and pencil, and 2 other pages left that I'm still inking. So it's really 6 pages, but the other 2 are so close to being completed that I can knock them out in maybe about an hour. What's left on them.
Mhm.
So and so I'm working on that. But I've been lucky and fortunate enough. I don't know about we were talking earlier about how we get online and that's how people we get to know us. And there's people that go into comic stores exclusively, but I'm starting to meet people that run YouTube channels outside of Comicsgate, but they've heard of Comicsgate and they're not anti-Comicsgate. So I've been invited on more channels. Yeah, like Vera Dark invited me on her channel, and she knew I'm Comicsgate. She didn't have any problem at all with that. And then now I'm invited on another channel. They primarily focus on Black creators, but they're
Mhm.
willing to bring me on and talk about Dragon Rage.
Well, you're brown, so you're halfway there.
Yeah, I'm right in the middle. I guess they're kind of like
That's right.
they're like,
You
hey, go out in
qualify,
the sun
sort
for
of.
a little while. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. They're like, lay in the sun for 30 minutes, Jimmy, and then we'll bring you on the show. Cool.
Come
But
talk
they're
to us in August after you've tanned the whole summer, and then
yeah,
you're right in.
yeah, 10 a little bit. But they're super nice. They're really good guys. They seem really nice. I don't know them that well, but I'm gonna get on their channel, and I think it's really nice that because I get people that'll tell me when they talk to me, they go, "You don't seem like Comicsgate." And I go, "What do you mean?" They're like, "You're nice." I'm like, "Everybody's nice."
I know. Well, now hang on a second. Hang on a second here. Marcus Killigrew doesn't think so. He says Aaron is a grouchy host. You're wrong, Marcus. I'm a grouchy person, so it just spills over into everything I do. But so you're partially correct. They're saying Angela Curry's saying Jimmy's like milk chocolate. So okay, yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, yeah.
So anyway, folks, we'll come back and take a look at this later, but the link is in the description of this video for Jimmy Reyes's Dragon Rage, almost complete. So get in there and back this outstanding looking book for dragon adventure, violence,
Slight nudity.
yeah, some little bit of adult content there for you
Yeah.
people that are looking for something a little bit spicier. Um, anyway,
Sweet spice.
that's right. Follow that link. We'll come back and check this later. But right now, because they're demanding it, Jimmy, and when the people demand it, you got to give them what they want.
Oh,
Or
yeah.
you can just be, like me and say, screw you guys. I'm doing what I want. This is my channel. No, I'm not going to do that. I'm way too nice for that, aren't I, Marcus? Okay, so I went to the. Do you collect toys at all?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, yeah. Oh, look at this.
Do you?
Do you remember this stuff? The whole
That
Conan.
Conan thing.
Yeah, it's Conan from
Wait a minute,
McFarlane
I'm
Toys.
gonna make it big here.
Yeah.
Who makes? Who made that?
McFarlane Toys made these,
Oh.
and I have them because they're kind of like, and look at Bondage.
Ooh, yeah.
He's about
Now,
to.
wait a minute. What? I don't remember the Conan ones. Okay, there we go. Now they're in focus. So is he gonna? Oh, he's gonna free her. I thought maybe he was gonna club her and.
Yeah. He's I think he's here to battle for her, but they're almost like this is back when McFarlane was making them like little statues, and I love the detail, and I've got the entire collection of them. They're from I think they came out in like 2012 or something, and I have all the Danger Girl action figures. I got a whole shelf behind me back there with tons of I love collecting the figures.
Well, dude, I don't have any more room in my studio. Every shelf is full of either books or toys. And so I'm like, I should never go to a toy show. And yet I did. Let's take a
Wow.
Now it doesn't look like anybody's there, and the reason is because they had like an early bird. You could get in early. You had to pay extra money, but I don't know if it was worth paying extra money. But anyway, here's a little. I'm not going to play my audio because it's really kind of dumb, and it's no better than what I'm doing right here. But this is the Washington State Toy Show, and this was in Vancouver, Washington, at the Clark County Fairgrounds. So as you can see, it's actually I thought it was going to be this rinky-dink thing, but it's actually fairly good sized for kind of a local-ish toy store. So there's a lot of stuff to go look at, a lot of pop figures, but a lot of like crazy stuff too. And I like it when you get to the tables where the people got those old stuff from like the 60s and stuff. And you're like, I don't, not that I remember the 60s, but I do. I was a wee lad, a very, very wee lad.
You were a fetus back in the 60s. Yeah.
Well, I came out in 64, so.
Oh, wow. We're exactly 10 years age difference.
Yeah. Thanks for pointing that out, Jim. Thank you very much.
I'm saying you're a big brother, not old enough to be, a parent, but.
Okay. I see.
Still a sibling, could be siblings. Lopez,
now, yeah, well, that's true. That's right. My Cuban descent is showing. So I saw this though. Somebody had a movie poster for Song of the South, and I was, quite frankly, speaking of brown and black, I was offended by this. I couldn't believe they had this on display, so I actually bought 2 of them. But no, they just had the one. But I had to get a picture of it because I thought that's pretty funny.
Wow.
This of course, this causes cancellation. Who knows? My channel may get canceled for showing this, but
we're gonna get struck right now.
I know. But so there it was, and I had to get a shot of that. Now that they're changing even the Disneyland ride, Jimmy, we can't even go to Disneyland anymore, and we're not going to get the what's the waterfall ride? The log ride where you go off the waterfall. It's they have all the Song of the South
Splash Mountain.
Splash Mountain. Thank you. They have all the Song of the South characters, and they're redoing all that to make it Princess and the Frog.
Oh wow!
Which
really?
I actually like Princess and the Frog. It was
actually
a pretty movie, but still, Anyway, so I had to share that and let people know that this is still going on around us. Now, here's one of the things I looked at, and are you a Star Trek fan at all?
Oh yeah.
Don't lie to me.
Hmm? Yeah,
Don't lie to me. I'll ask you a question, and then you're not going to be able to answer it, and you go, "Okay, I lied, Aaron. I'm not really a Star Trek."
No, fan. I have the motion picture in 4K. I know most people don't like the motion picture, but I think that was the best Star Trek movie.
Oh, you don't know what you're talking about. Star Trek 2. Anyway, check this out. Look at the lights work on this thing. $200 for this. It's 3. I guess it's a play set.
And these kids are going to break it.
I know. Those rotten kids.
Yeah.
Quit touching stuff.
Yeah, with their snot-nosed fingers and sticky fingers.
So I called Shelley and I said, okay. I said, if I buy this 3-foot-long Enterprise, where in the world are we going to put it? And she's like,
but she suggested a place that it would have hurt, right?
No. She had a place for it, and everybody thought I was going to buy it, and I wasn't sure if I was going to buy it or not, but I really wanted to buy it. But I'll tell you what threw me was, if you look at this, you see how it's like they're smooth and there's no like on the outside of the ship, there's no like really cool articulation like you see in those kind of high-end models.
Yeah.
And I thought, this is kind of a dumbed down version of the Enterprise. And yeah, it's big and it lights up. And this little area here, this lid comes off and you can see the bridge and the lights and stuff work in the bridge.
Oh, wow.
But they have like little Lego type dudes that go in there. So I was kind of like, do I really want this, or would I want something that's like actually looks better? Am I getting enamored by this just because it's big? That's what I was kind of.
Did it come with the stand? It's got the
it's got the stand. I kind of like the little the right down here. This little Star Trek stand and look at that Atari 2600. I bet you could play Atari Force on that.
Have you seen the one that Dennis he got through? I think it was a Kickstarter or something.
Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah,
see, that was cool. This is kind of the Simpletons Enterprise, and so I kind of wanted it because it lit up and everything. But at the same time, I was like, I don't know. And $200 for something that big, I felt like that was a really good price. But I don't know. I mean, I could look maybe on eBay, and they have these things for $150. I don't know.
but plus shipping. And then
Well,
eBay
there you go.
they always sell things as slightly used, and when you get them, it's in pieces. You know.
Yeah, exactly. It's slightly used. Tony Martinez, one of our Latino brothers, is saying it's a Playmobil Enterprise.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so that's the thing. It's kind of like if it had like a little bit more work on it, made it look a little bit cooler, maybe.
Yeah, a
But
little more
so
detail, intricate
I
details.
resisted. Yeah, so I resisted that. But that was something I was seriously looking at.
Wow.
Now, my son was with me. My son, who's now 30, and an engineer. He has a newborn, and but anytime people are selling giant dinosaurs, Jimmy, you pretty much have to make the purchase.
Oh my God! Wow.
And so there are these two Jurassic Park dinosaurs.
I think those are Jurassic World.
Yeah,
dinosaurs.
Jurassic World, right? There's the T-Rex, and there's that
The
that
hybrid.
one they created, the
Yeah.
genetically altered one. And so this lady wanted $35 a piece. My son, of course, is a project manager engineer for a big company, so he's constantly
Wow.
negotiating. And he's like, "Will you do 60 for both of them?" And
Yeah.
she's like, "Yeah." So he picked up those. His son is like 2 months old, but I said, "Soon he'll be fighting with these giant T-Rexes." So he got a
Yes.
little ahead of the game, and he
Yeah.
made the purchase.
Well, speaking of that, in the '90s, back when Image was coming out and McFarlane was first coming out with toys, you and I have a son. My son's also 30 years old as
Okay.
well, and he was a little boy when that came out back then. And I had all those figures in mint condition, in boxes, and I
Oh.
gave in by the time he was about 9 years old or 10. I let him open all of them, and he just kept them in his room. And
It's tough. It's tough when your kids want to play with this stuff.
yeah,
I had one of those. I had the Jurassic Park. The ones that were they were rubber skinned, and but you squeeze them and they would go, rawr, but they were really nice sculpts and stuff.
yeah.
I let my son play with that, and he ripped the arm off. So I later had to get another one at a convention for $50.
Oh,
And
wow.
so I do have that one
Wow.
up there now. But yeah, I got tons of dinosaur stuff, and I was like, I almost bought those myself, but I was like, where am I going to put these?
Wow.
Once again, the age-old question: where am I going to put this stuff?
The only one that survived is the Wetworks. I have the Wetworks character Dozer, the one with the big cannons. For some
Yes.
reason, that's the only one he didn't really care for. So it's the only one I have left.
I got to take care of this. Daniel Russell went all the trouble during the show to send this to me. These are apparently Atari Force action figures.
Yeah.
And so, Daniel, here you go. There you go. Thanks for soiling my screen with your Atari Force action figures. You know what else they had there? What's that Cygor, that McFarlane, that gorilla that's like part
part.
Oh, they had a giant one for $20.
Wow.
I almost got it, but then again, the question, it echoed my mind. Where are you going to put it, Aaron? Where are you going to put it, Aaron? And I was already looking at a couple other things. And now, Jimmy, we're going to take a look at what I did actually spend my money on.
Awesome. Oh, at
Now-
the show. Now,
Yeah.
is it just like toys that were manufactured, or did they have those guys that are making their custom figures?
Dude, there was a ton of people doing 3D printed toys that they made themselves.
Yeah.
And it was really bizarre because I was like, I didn't know so many people were doing this now.
Yeah, there's a whole scene, there's a whole show based just on that. And they'll even put them in packaging and in packages that look like they were manufactured and stuff, but they're 3D printed, and it's insane now.
I wondered, like, I was like, because my son worked at Legacy Special Effects in Burbank for an internship. And they would do, they had like one of these gigantic 3D printers. Like if they did like a Hulk bust or something, and they would, they'd do the sculpt, and then they would test run them on the, to see what it looked like. They would do a 3D print of it, but they had this massive 3D printer, right? So like those Alex Ross Hulk head busts, those things, they would do things like that size, and then they check it out and say, oh yeah, this looks good, or it doesn't look good, whatever. So he's familiar with them, how to work them, and what, the materials and stuff.
Yeah, the different type
like,
of plastics.
Are these things going to like just break real easy? And he goes, no, it depends on what they use. I don't think so. They look, but it was interesting. Most of the people were doing like, they would do iguanas and turtles and just, kind of goofy things. No one was doing anything like, like cutting edge, like cool action figure type stuff, at least at this show. I know there's
Like
people that are doing it.
articulated or
Right. Nothing too fancy, but
um,
and the stuff that did have moving parts were like I said, this one person had like a turtle. They had a bunch of turtles, and they had like the legs would move on it and stuff. And I like picked it up, and it was like it felt like it was going to fall apart. And so I was like, I didn't want to touch anything.
no, yeah.
It might have just been me, but I was like, ooh, that sounds kind of all right. So as my dog is going nuts, let me close my door here so I don't have to listen to this. Shut up.
Hello, everybody in the chat. Appreciate you guys all saying hi. I see the hi Jimmy's in there. It's good seeing you guys. Yeah.
I'm back. Yes, say hello to Jimmy. Thanks for coming. Okay, so here it is. So I'm walking around, and this guy actually had like one of the dealers there had a toy store, right?
Yeah.
So he was like an actual dealer there. It wasn't just like, oh, this stuff in my basement I'm trying to get rid of. And so I'm looking around. He has a glass case and everything. And I'm not a person that's going to, if I see something, go, I got to have that right now. I usually like think about it, and I'm like, do I really need that? Do I really want that? But I saw this, and I know what you're going to say. You're going to say, who is that, Aaron? I know.
I'm curious.
I'm going to have to explain it to you.
Yeah,
But I'm prepared for that. Anybody who doesn't know who Hawkeye is not going to know who this is. So, all right. So here we go. So I saw this in the glass case, $40. And I didn't even hesitate. I said, I want that now. Get it out of there now. He had to unlock it. He was fumbling for his keys. I was pounding. It was just, all right, are you ready? Zemnu, the Living Titan. Go ahead, Jimmy. Say, who the heck is that?
Let me think. Is that from a sci-fi show from the 60s?
This is Marvel.
This is Marvel?
Yeah. Now, you know how they used to have they'd sell the action figures, and you'd get a piece for a bigger one and you have to buy like 20 of them. You can put it together.
Yeah.
This was one of the characters they did, was this Zemnu character that you had to get the pieces for to put together. Now, I am a huge Zemnu fan, and because I mean, what's not to like, right? Big hairy monster dude. And I knew you'd have no clue who this.
Yeah, I have no idea.
So allow me, Jimmy, if I may, to spend a moment here to educate you and the masses on just exactly who Zemnu the Living Titan is. All right. So if you go way back to 1961-ish, I think, 62, we had Journey into Mystery. This is pre-Thor. This is pre-superheroes, right? This is Kirby and Stan Lee barely keeping the doors open. They created... I've done it. I've created a living Hulk. Look at he's right there. He's saying it. Here comes the Hulk. This was the Hulk.
But he's got rabbit paws. Like they're so soft. They're little kitten paws.
Yeah. Well,
He can give you a back rub or something with it. He's gonna polish your windows,
He stopped you on the street and do your car window. Okay. So he was originally brown and but you see, he has this little metal helmet right there that we saw on this guy, right? His little metal helmet right here. Now, what happened was he was originally created by this guy. See, he's done it. I've created a living Hulk. So he was like sort of a Frankenstein type monster, right? Yeah. And it proved to be somewhat popular. So they came back a few issues later, Jimmy, and they gave us Return of the Hulk. So now he's gray. He's no longer brown. Now he's gray. Now you see he's got this he's got that kind of metal stomach thing going on right here. Right there. And he's got the metal helmet, right? Like our buddy here, but this guy is white, where that guy is gray now. So we see Zemnu he hasn't even become Zemnu yet. He's still the Hulk. Now, of course, Marvel launched the Hulk that we all know and love.
Yeah, and gray. He also changed colors as well.
Yeah, he did actually. Started off gray and then ended up green finally. So then it's like, well, what do we do with Zemnu? Well, now I don't know if this is the first time they actually found a practical use for him. But here we go in the more modern sense of what we know of Zemnu, the Living Titan. Shows up in the Defenders.
Oh, nice.
And becomes a nice Gil Kane cover, by the way.
Yes. Wow.
And so he becomes a villain for the Defenders, and no longer is he a created being. Now he's an alien with mind control powers.
How did they change his origin, though? How did they explain that?
Well, I think they just ignored it and moved on. I mean, because now he's white and they changed his name to Zemnu. So who's going to make the connection? And, this was 1972 probably. And, who's going to remember what happened back in 61, right?
Yeah.
So anyway, he becomes a Defenders villain. And looks like he roughed up the Defenders. This is quite a team, though. The Hulk, Submariner, and Doctor Strange. How would you like to be Doctor Strange trying to manage those two guys?
Wow.
Pain in the butt.
But why is there all children in the background? Is he trying to lure? Oh, he's trying to get Earth's children onto the rocket.
Yeah, he says, now that I've defeated the Defenders, I shall steal Earth's children.
Oh, he's a pedo. Oh,
yeah, I don't know. Maybe he's going to eat them. Maybe it's like a Hansel and Gretel thing, or maybe he's these are the kind of questions that we didn't ask in 1972 that come right to the forefront.
Yeah. Or is this the parents telling you now, kid, now, young Aaron, behave. If not,
Zemnu's going to come and take you away.
He's going to take you in his rocket. Do your homework.
Well, of course, that was Marvel Feature, which the Defenders premiered in Marvel Feature #1. And so they did like a couple issues of that before they spun off and got their own series. And then they did get their own series, Jimmy. And then by issue 12, once again, Zemnu returns.
Oh, he's different now. Wow.
He's a little bit hairier. They didn't really articulate. He has a metal cap on back here, but you can't really see it. They didn't really color it well. And they didn't do his midsection. So I think they've come back and actually they went later, then gave him the midsection thing back. He messed with She-Hulk in the John Byrne series, the sensational She-Hulk in the 90s. But he's just kind of goofy fun. And
they're no longer calling him the Hulk. They're calling him a Titan now.
Well, he's Zemnu, the living Titan. He went from I created a Hulk to Zemnu, the living Titan. But it's the same character, but they changed him. They evolved him into this.
It's kind of
so when I saw this,
like a Pokemon, he evolved.
Yeah, exactly. And so I saw this, and I'm like, I must have Zemnu, the living Titan. And no question entered my mind about where am I going to put this? Because I didn't care, Jimmy. I had to have Zemnu, the living Titan, and now I do have him. So
where did you put him? I'm curious. Did you find
I haven't put him anyplace. He was sitting back there on that desk behind, or that shelf behind me.
Yeah.
Which is really, I need that for like artwork and things like that. So I don't want to clutter it up, even though it's getting cluttered up with a bunch of toys. I have no place else to put them. So Zemnu doesn't have a resting spot yet, but we'll find a place for him. But I'm not done, Jimmy. It got worse. Okay. It got worse. And now for those people who don't know, Wraith of God 3 will be launching June-ish, sometime as soon as I finish up Kit Carter. And it's called Fear Hollow. And there will be a Headless Horseman story involved in Fear Hollow. So I'm a Headless Horseman fan, and then so I'm always on the lookout. You never know, right, what you're going to see. So, okay, I'll go big here again. So I saw this, negotiated. They were unnegotiable. And I still had to get it. Look at this box art.
Wow.
Okay, so you see that, and you're thinking, dude, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Flip it around. Look at that.
Oh, wow.
Okay, so now this has like a little magnet flaps on it. See these? But it creates a backdrop. Let me show you the backdrop here, and then I'll show you the actual toy. So you've got this like Sleepy Hollow backdrop, right? That kind of cool. That you set your action figure in front of. If you took it out of the box, which of course, when you spend $150, which I spent on this, you don't take it out of the box. All right, here it is. So,
wow.
Look at that horse.
I'm not too sure I'm liking the pumpkin. It's a little happy.
Well, he's got two pumpkin heads though.
Oh, okay. So
this one's flaming. He's a flamer. And this is the not quite. See his flame coming out of his eyes. I don't know if you can actually see that or not.
So he can emoticon or emoji his emotion.
Yeah. So he's got kind of pissed off eyebrows, though. He's smiling and pissed off, which is kind of scary. You can't really see it there, but he does have pissed off eyebrows. But this horse is what sold it.
Yeah.
I thought the horse is amazing.
You got a little bit right there. Yeah.
So it's got the red eyes, just like my horse from Wraith of God has red eyes. So they're going to have a showdown, baby, for sure. And so I see this. The guy wants 150 for it, and I'm like, wow. And so this is made by where are they here?
Nico, was it Nico?
No. The Four Horsemen Studios. They're like a small toy company, and they like they do stuff on Instagram. They show and I remember when this came out, like I think it was a year or 2 years ago maybe. And I was like, should I get it? Should I get it? And of course, like a dummy, I didn't, and now I had to pay more for it. But my toy guy and everyone's friend of the show, Aaron Sparrow, I texted him and said, dude, should I get this? Is this a good price? And he's like, yes, get it. And so apparently these go for over $200 on eBay. So I got it for 150. I tried to get him down. He wouldn't move. And he said, I should be charging more than 150. I went, all right, I'll pay you. So anyway, so I got this. And as you can see, it's fairly big. And again, I don't know where in the heck I'm going to put it. And Aaron Sparrow's like, you got to take it out, man, and display it. I'm like, you sacrilegious.
You don't open your figures in that come back?
Sometimes I do, but most of the time it's like, if I spend that kind of money, like, dude, that is not coming out of the box, okay? Because 2 years from now, I may need to sell that.
Yeah.
As cool as it is, no. It's like, that's why you buy 2 of them, right? And I hear my toy people are saying, Maromi's saying 150 isn't bad. Okay, see, I feel good about it now. And this is like the limited edition one. Like there was a regular one, and this is like limited, I guess. So I guess it's more special.
But so that backdrop, that's the box itself. Once you open the magnetic flaps, it folds over.
Well, no, this is like a separate piece, right? And it flaps around the box with the magnets on here, but then you take it out and you set it up like this and set your figure in front of it, I guess.
Wow.
And Aaron Sparrow was saying, if you get the figure with from the Johnny Depp movie, he says if you get that, there's like get that tree. There's like you can get like a action figure with that tree. He says you set the tree up in front of this, and then you set up the one I just got. He says it's a great display, and I said
with the one that was made by McFarlane, by the McFarlane Toys.
I think they were.
He released Sleepy Hollow a while back, in like mid 2000s.
Yeah, I think those were made by McFarlane.
Oh yeah. So
they look great, but they probably break easy. So anyway, so I get this, right? I've got Zemnu, I've got this. I'm now spent the $200 I was going to spend on the Star Trek Enterprise, and we're getting ready to leave, and it's pouring down rain. And we're at the state fair, right? So we have to walk through all the fairgrounds to get to the actually parking area. So I'm like, what am I going to do? I can't take this out. My son is like, you're going to take your coat off, wrap it, and just sacrifice your body, because it was just pouring down rain with rain and the wind and the snow mixed in. And you're just like,
wow,
oh, this is going to get nasty. And just then, Jimmy, some guy goes, excuse me, do you need a sack? And I went, yes. And he said,
well, saying I'm not a man? You saying man up. Don't be afraid of the rain.
I just like that. The guy went down.
You need a sack. Get out there in that rain. Be a man.
He said, I brought an extra sack. He goes, I didn't find anything in here that I was looking for. So if you'd like the sack, I went, wow, can I pay you for it? He said, no. And I said, good, because I don't have any money left.
Yeah.
And so I put it in the sack and wrapped that thing up. And then we made a run for it, and everything worked out okay.
Wow, man, that's awesome. That was really.
So there you go. That's I vow never to go to another toy show again, because I was totally convinced I wasn't going to buy anything. I mean, what am I going to get? We were just going to go to look, kind of just have a day, just kind of look at stuff. And sure enough, there was about 5 things I wanted to buy, and I at least resisted that and only got 2.
Well, how do you feel that you left and didn't buy the Enterprise? Do you feel?
If it had been, I'll tell you this. I'll tell you, my wife, Shelley, was like surprised when I did not show up with the Enterprise. And my mom was as well. She's like, where's the Enterprise? Because my mom's a huge Star Trek fan. And I was like, I didn't get it.
She's going to kick you out of your own house. Go back and get it.
Exactly. They're like, you brought the Headless Horseman, but you did not bring the Enterprise. But I'm telling you, Jimmy, if it had been, if the modeling had been a little bit higher end on it, I'd have pulled the trigger. But I didn't. And so I don't have huge regrets about it. But now someone said 150 was good, but then I've got someone saying, who's Iodine 74 is saying that you can get those for 125 plus shipping. And okay, 125 plus shipping is 150. Okay. And now Iodine's backing it off saying, oh, that was the original version. And then it was a year ago. and they did a recolored re-release exclusively through their dealers. So iodine, you're messing with me, man. Yeah, this is the apparently the limited edition one. So I think I did okay. Don't make me feel bad about my purchase.
You say that version right there is now worth $25.
Yeah, that's not worth the paper it was printed on. You kidding me?
The only thing of value is that backdrop.
That's right. So take it out of the box. No one cares. David Brohawk Williams is in the audience. Hey, David. Jimmy finally had enough to bribe Aaron to be on a stream. That's right. I just wanted to make sure that he paid me $150, so I broke even on the on
the price is an enterprise, a Playtel enterprise. That's
yes
the cost.
Exactly. So yeah, so I think I did okay, and all I got to do is find a place to put them because I have up here. Do you ever see those Herculoids play sets?
No.
Dude, are you
the old ones
serious?
from the 80s?
No. They came out in the 90s, or maybe the early 2000s, but they're from the 1960s cartoon show, right? The Herculoids. You know what the Herculoids are, right?
Oh, yeah, I remember them. I didn't know this was from the 60s. My brain remembers it as the 80s because that's when I saw it.
Well, you probably saw it on Boomerang or something like that.
Yeah.
But they were like part of that Hanna-Barbera, Johnny Quest stuff that all came out. And they have they come in boxes about the same as the Headless Horseman. And there's 3 sets of them. And you push them all together and they say Herculoids across this big rock base. And I got those still in boxes because those cost me, I traded for some of them, but they were like $125, $150 a box. Wow. And so those are like taking up an entire, shelf. And I don't know where the Headless Horseman's going to go, but probably right back there, taking up more shelf space. Toys, man, they're the devil.
I know you're obviously a Star Trek fan, but are you at all a Star Wars fan as well? Or are you just...
Yeah, but not to I was already like, I already was all in on Star Trek, since when it came out.
The TV show?
Yeah, I think I saw the last season, 68. I would have been 4 years old. My mom was already watching it. So I blame her. But so I have vague memories of a 4-year-old watching a couple episodes of Star Trek, like on Friday night when they would actually come on. And then, of course,
you lived through the cancellation, right? You lived through when the original show got canceled was after season 3.
Yeah,
and then they were.
But it went right into reruns. So you're catching it on local TV at Saturday night or whatever. They would they just went into reruns. So I don't remember there being like this huge gap where there was no Star Trek. And so yeah, I was totally into Star Trek before Star Wars ever came out, and I loved Star Wars. And I was 12 when it came out, so it's like I was perfect age for it. Yeah. We went and saw it like 100 times that summer when it came out because it was always at the theater, right? And we were just like, what do you want to do? I don't know. Let's go watch Star Wars again. But for some reason, it never took the spot in this heart.
Wow.
Star Trek has.
Wow. No, none of the Jedis, some of the space wizards and swinging swords around. Like, I love that stuff,
Well, so do I, but there's nothing like Kirk getting like Green Orion slave girls and phasering people.
Yeah. He got girls left and right.
Did Luke ever get the girl? I don't think Luke ever got the girl.
He actually kissed his own sister.
I know. It's just sick when you think about it. But Kirk,
he got the wrong girl.
Yeah, exactly. Kirk got women every episode, so he was really the guy I idolized.
Wow. I actually only recently got into Star Trek. I started watching Star Trek Discovery. And that was my introduction into Star Trek. And then I said, I want to go back to the original. And I started collecting in 4K, collecting the Star Trek movies.
That's where it's at. Well, that's not the original. You got to go back to the TV show, the first 2 seasons, man.
I haven't seen the TV show yet, but I've got Wrath of Khan, the original.
That's the best Star Trek movie in my professional opinion. Not my humble opinion. My professional opinion, Jimmy.
Yeah, I like that Khan was a Latino. He had that tan and he had that Latin accent. I'm like, yeah, I could get into
That's
this.
right. He's representing. He represented before representation was cool. Yeah,
I felt represented.
That's right. Now I believe I can be a maniacal villain too.
Yeah, I'm gonna take over. Yeah. But he was genetically altered, powerful, everything I want to be.
I want to be genetically.
Yeah, I'm like, when you alter my DNA, my genes, can you make me a little taller?
Taller, a little meaner. Give me that big old Khan chest,
Oh yeah,
iron and yeah. No, I love that. It's the perfect Star Trek movie, and because it's like a movie version of one of the great television episodes, and so it was just that's it for me. But yeah, so Star Trek guy first, Star Wars second. That's just how it is. And I don't have to listen to, except for George Takei, I don't have to listen to any whiny, actors crying about Trump or whoever, like Luke Skywalker and these other dips. So. That's just, all opinions expressed on this channel are mine alone. So anyway. Okay. So Jimmy, did you ever do any work for, was Wizard Magazine still around when you were busting in, or probably not?
I broke in 91 before Wizard Magazine was around. So
you were working in comics when Wizard was a thing.
Yeah, when they were huge. Hero and Wizard and all those guys.
Did you ever do any work for Wizard that appeared in Wizard?
No. Oh no, I don't think so. Maybe an ad for the book. One of the books I was working on, but
interesting.
I don't think I did. I didn't do anything specifically for them, with Seamus and those guys, like asking, hey, can you do something specifically for us? No.
Well, I actually did, and I did a little bit more than I thought so. So we're going to take a moment right now, Jimmy, and take a look into my flat files and see what lurks. It's like a variety show. It's like you're on the Carol Burnett show. Okay. So I did a few things. Unfortunately, I do not. Wow. Why is that so small? Oh, that's so unfortunate.
That's what she said.
So small. Okay. Well, you're gonna have to pretend that was bigger. Okay, here we go.
You're gonna clip that stuff,
Yeah, I know. I get clipped every week because I say stupid things. I don't realize what I'm saying, and then it's too late. Okay. So they also had a companion thing called Toy Fair Magazine. Did you ever see that?
Yes, I remember that.
That was published by Wizard. Yeah. Now they contacted me and said, now I take that back. This might have been for Wizard. This might not have been. I got another one from Toy Fair. I can't remember if this was Toy Fair or Wizard, but anyway, they wanted, and for the life of me, I cannot remember why they wanted the solar, superheroes. But it was cool because I got to do, all the outer space guys. So you got Thanos up here, Super Skrull. This was wow, ding ding. Who's that Sentinel? I'm not asking you, Jimmy, because I know.
Yeah, it's like I know the rest of them there, but I don't know.
Fire Lord. This was like one of Galactus's Sentinels after Silver Surfer. I don't know if it was the first one after Silver Surfer. Someone will know. There you go. Fire Lord. Let's see. Kevin Thomas says, my mom loved Carol Burnett. Thank you.
Yeah, same here. My mom.
I used to watch Carol Burnett.
Yeah,
Tim Conway's hilarious. I watch on YouTube. I'll watch some bits that they do, and he's got everybody on the show cracking up all the time. Yeah, so there he is. Marcus, was Firelord the first Herald after Silver Surfer, or was there somebody in between there? Because I know they had one called Nova too that was in there that was a chick, but I think that was post Firelord. I don't know. Anyway, so I did the Silver Surfer. You've got who's that kid? Oh, geez. Andy Smith drew this. Quasar.
Oh, Quasar, the guy with the black cape.
Yeah. And then there's Gamora up here. And these are, of course, the comic book versions. This is way before the movie. Nova, of course. Ronan the Accuser. And this is Drax the Destroyer without his shirt. And, of course, and then Galactus.
Wow.
So this was like a double-page spread that I did for, but I can't remember what the purpose of it was. For an article, though. And so this was in the early 2000s. So it was this is kind of post-Image, where, because the Image guys got to do all the Wizard stuff back in the 90s, right? When Wizard was big, this was kind of as Wizard was tapering off a bit, then they had room for guys like me to come in and contribute. So I was more than happy to do that.
It was a nice layout. Is it on 2 11x17 boards or?
Yeah, I turned them sideways this way, so they're like
Oh, okay.
super
To make
long.
it even longer, where it's
Right. And of course, like um, the capitalist that I am, I sold it. Don't have the original anymore, but I do have a
yeah.
scan because that's all we can do is hang on to our memories. Now, this one was
Wow.
there's a Muhammad Ali Superman,
Superman. Yeah.
right? And that's what these guys were actually in the roughly the same poses that Superman and Muhammad Ali were on the cover of that. And of course, they had all the celebrities in the crowd, but they wanted me to put in like Marvel superheroes. So I put some in about up to here, but I wasn't going to fill in all this crap. Are you
I
kidding me?
like
Like
how you
Leon.
made Namor turn and look to the camera, because it turns out he's actually an illegal. His name is Namor, and he's an illegal. And he's like, oh, I can't get photographed.
He's a little nervous. And he turns
He's a little
right to
nervous.
the camera, and now he's screwed. Well, this was during that period of time when Marvel was doing that Illuminati thing, where Professor X and Black Bolt and Doctor Strange and Namor and Reed Richards were all like controlling everything. And so that's why they're right in the front and center, the Illuminati right there.
Is that Grog in the very front?
It is. Or no, what's the that rock guy from the Hulk movie? From Planet Hulk. I drew it. I should know.
I thought it was
think of his
Grog
name.
or Grog.
Not Grog. What the heck was his name?
But he's the giant gray kind of rock guy, right?
Yeah, it's he's one of the stone men of Saturn, actually. Let's see. What was his name? Somebody help you guys know. They'll talk in chat. I should know because I drew him, but I can't remember. Somebody says, is Hulk wearing a tank top? No, that's his little like
Korg
belt thing that holds his spiky shoulder pad on from Planet Hulk. So that's his Planet Hulk outfit.
Wow.
Because that was, I think that's why I got this gig, is because I was, working on Planet Hulk, and that was actually a thing. There we go. Korg. That's his name.
Yeah, that's what
Korg.
it was. You've got one figure on the right corner of the ring in the back. You got a girl there that's like with a hood, and she's got more detail.
This chick right there?
In between the two knees, the Hulk's knee and Iron Man's knee. Right there. There's a girl with a hood.
I think this right here?
Right above her. That one right there. Is that a specific character, or is that?
I think one of those is Rogue, but I think this is. I think these are X-Men in here, because I think that's Rogue right there. I think that's Colossus. That might be who wore?
Were you tempted to sneak in Shelley in the crowd back there?
Shelley was very like, she would never pose for me and stuff. Don't put me in it. So I never did. But yeah, see, there's Cyclops right there. There's Iceman there.
Wow.
That's one of the, these are all X chicks, and that's some X dude.
Is that Nightcrawler below her? Looks kind of like Nightcrawler right above Cyclops and below that girl with the hood.
No, that's Iceman right there.
Right above him, right above Iceman, directly above him. That one, is that Nightcrawler?
No, I think that's Colossus.
Oh, okay, because the same V kind of.
Yeah, I think. That might be Nightcrawler. Oh, actually, that might be Nightcrawler. Oh, actually, it is. I was thinking his shoulders are up here, but they're not. His shoulders are right there. That's Nightcrawler. You're right. Good call. Black Spider-Man here, Wolverine, Spider-Woman, Black Panther.
Spider-Man of color, Aaron.
Ms. Marvel up here.
Oh, nice. Wow.
Power Man. Some of them I recognize. Some of them I can't remember. Oh, look at that big Brood character right there. Sylvester's Brood, remember from X-Men? Wow. There was a Brood character in Planet Hulk too. So
yeah, that alien thing with the big head going back, kind of.
Yeah. So that was now this chat is demanding I kick you now because of your lack of comic book knowledge, but I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it.
No, I know art. I actually I know Image. I got in comics in the 90s. I know that. I'm like John Malin. I came in the 90s.
So you know what you know, and that's all you know. So
I know Image stuff, but I mean, Savage Sword of Conan. That was the stuff I was reading. So, if you one of these days we go through and do some John Buscema and Rudy Nebra and all those guys.
Good stuff.
Nestor Redondo and everybody. Ernie Chan.
Yep. I love that stuff. This is they did like a lineup for like, I think this was
Wow.
like height and power, for these chicks. And I think this is, I think that's that X13 girl, or whatever, the little Wolverine girl. I think
Oh,
that's who that is.
X23.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. That's with a Teen Titan Wonder Girl kind of thing. Wonder Woman's little niece or something.
Well, this is all DC stuff. X23 was Marvel. I thought we were.
This is a mix.
It is.
See?
It is. Oh, Rogue.
Yeah,
I
there's
see now.
Rogue
And then
and
wow,
She-Hulk. And then so we got so that's Mary Marvel over next to She-Hulk, and then Supergirl, and then Wonder Woman. But then you got She-Hulk, and then Power Girl, and then Rogue, and then Wonder Girl, I think is her name, and then whoever that is. So this was actually kind of fun to do. And here's the colored version. I think the color version actually, well, it's not bad. I was going to say I think the colors suck, but they're not great. But who am I to be critical? I'll tell you who I am. I'm critical of everybody. So anyway, that's what it looked like.
Bruiser.
Yeah,
Oh, it is
Supergirl.
the girl from the Runaways. Wow.
Oh, is it? Okay, Bruiser. Yeah. So she's So you got a little height chart there. Look at She-Hulk is. Why did they look at they jacked up her forearm? What happened to the holding line on her forearm here?
Oh man, the color went right over the line work instead of behind it.
Paying attention.
Yeah. Did you ever watch the Runaways TV show that they produced?
No.
Did a live action? Wasn't that
I watch YouTube, Jimmy. That's all I watch is YouTube.
Oh, you're with the in crowd now. That's all.
Yeah, exactly.
There was a study recently done that the new generation they don't go to movies. They're just watching YouTube and television shows.
That's what we're here for, to educate the new up and coming young people. Because I'm sure they're all watching a 60-year-old guy talk about comic books. It's like their favorite thing. Okay, so here we go. This was for Toy Fair. Now, you remember that game, HeroClix?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so they had like, who were the most powerful HeroClix? And so these were like the most powerful of the HeroClix. Like this is the Ultimate Thor was a great character. Bizarro, Lex Luthor over here. This is that guy who does that stuff. And
yeah, that guy that flies and does that stuff.
Yeah, this
is Sentinel.
Yeah, there's this. Yeah, that's the Sentinel, right? You got that. Good for you.
Hey,
I can't remember this guy. He's a DC dude, but Ultraman or something maybe. And then this is that Superman villain. What the heck?
I don't know.
He was in that one episode of the cartoon show. It was based on a comic that Alan Moore wrote. His name is like Uga or something. I don't know what his name is, but
he looks Uga.
I think it was Uga.
Mongol.
Yeah, Mongol. That's it. Good for you. Look at you, Jimmy.
No, I didn't get it. Someone in the chat gave it to me.
In the chat. Okay. Well, at least you're honest. Yeah. And then Dark Side, Gray Hulk here, and then the guy from Kingdom Come, Magog. And then the Superman. And so these were like the most powerful at the time HeroClix characters. And so they wanted me to turn it into a.
Did you give this original to your son?
No, I sold it. Are you kidding me?
He was a big Superclix fan.
HeroClix. Yeah, he was.
Why am I saying Superclix?
But I sold this artwork to pay for these kids' college, so they got it one way or another.
Yeah, they needed braces.
Yeah, I think I had this for the longest time. No one bought this, and I might still have it. Although I think I recently sold it, but I can't remember now. I have to go look. If it's missing, I do such a horrible job of keeping track of my artwork. If it's gone out of the portfolio, I'm like, must have sold it.
You have no idea if you're robbed.
Yeah, I know. I was like, I must have sold this. I don't remember.
Wow.
So anyway, Christina's straightened me out. Yes, you're right. UGA is the University of Georgia mascot. That's correct. Not the Superman.
It was either one, one of those.
It was one of those.
50-50 chance there.
I knew it was one of those two. Oh my goodness. All righty. Well.
Oh, I was going to show you. Look at my new 3D printed.
Oh, it moves too. Are those like battery operated?
Battery operated. Look at this one.
What kind of dogs are those?
It's a Chihuahua.
Oh, are they? Oh man, you got a barky one. I got a barky one.
Can you see her shaking? Her little
I know
shake.
they're so nervous.
We decided to call her. Oh, I got to cover my eyes. We decided to call her Gizmo because she looks like Gizmo,
Oh,
the Mogwai.
just
Too
wait till
bad.
they start barking at everything.
Oh, I know. They're
I got a
crazy.
miniature schnauzer, and all that dog does is bark. All he does is bark. Drives me nuts.
So
Those
that
are
was-
cute, though.
Thank you. Yeah, I didn't mean to interrupt there. I just wanted to show you guys that we were
No.
talking earlier about. You said your dog was barking, and that made me think. Remember, hey, I just got one. My mom just gave me that dog.
Oh, so now you got new kids to take care of.
Yeah.
No, wait a
Yeah.
minute. I thought we got rid of the kids. No,
I
now
know.
we
I'm like, oh man. Yeah, but these guys they're like babies, you know. They're
I know. It's like if I never have to potty train another dog, I'll be a happy guy. So, but good luck to you.
well. You know, I base how I pick my dogs is I base it on. Are you cute enough that I'm actually going to be okay with you pooping on my floor?
Right. That's
know.
the thing I've got to do is like I said, if I'm getting a dog, there's got to be so much entertainment value to me that it makes up for all the other crap I have to put up with, literally.
Yeah.
And so you got to get dogs with personality for sure.
Oh yeah.
I forgot about this. This is the last thing I did for
Wow.
Wizard. I was doing a Sentinel Squad miniseries for Marvel, and they had these new giant Sentinels, right? That guys would like sit in the chest cavity, I guess, and drive them.
Oh.
Like what was that Del Toro movie where they had the big
Pacific Rim.
Yeah, Pacific Rim, kind of like that.
Or
So I had these Sentinels-
Evangelion.
Yeah. So because I was working on the miniseries, they got me to do it, and so I did this
Wow.
specific piece just for Wizard Magazine. It was great because I knew they were out in the desert, and I wouldn't have to draw like anything but just like a couple sand dunes. So that worked out pretty well.
Yeah. I mean, it's actually a really good design. I would like something like this. I'd get so bored. Like I don't like doing the mechanical and designing.
I don't either. I hate it.
Yeah.
That's why we had him go into the Savage Land and fight dinosaurs. So I could draw the dinosaurs. He goes, "You're gonna make me draw giant robots, dude. Take me to the Savage Land." And so he did. John.
Yeah. Everybody's in loincloths and you know, a bunch of organic backgrounds and.
Yeah, exactly. No rulers.
Yeah. Was it Kazor or?
Yeah, Kazar was actually
Kazar.
I think Stegron was in it, the dinosaur man. So he was,
Oh.
or not Stegron, but who's the pterodactyl dude that the X-Men fought?
Sauron.
He's Sauron. There it is.
Sauron.
Yeah.
Yeah. Look at that! I got another one right. Look at this.
Yeah, look at you,
Wow.
man. You're surprising the heck out of me. But John Layman wrote this, and he's like, "What do you want to draw?" And I'm like, "Well, first of all, I said, can you work in Galactus and Silver Surfer somehow?" And he's like, "Yeah, I think so." And so they did this simulation where they were fighting Galactus and the Silver Surfer. And so I got to draw like this splash page with him fighting Galactus, which I kept that. And then there was a couple Silver Surfer pages. And so that was really cool. And then I said, well, and can we go to the Savage Land? They're like, sure, why not? You know? But anyway, so I did some other smaller ads and stuff for Wizard, but I had this like stretch where there was an editor. It might've been Brian Cunningham. I don't remember because I did a lot of work for him at DC when he went over to DC. So, but I had somebody over at Wizard that I did a couple jobs for, and they're like, "Oh, he's turning them in on time." They kept calling me for like several months, and so I got several like Wizard jobs, and then of course they dried up, and you know. But anyway, there you go. That's my adventures in Wizard World, Wizard Magazine.
So, I mean, and not to get too personal, but I mean, now that you're out of that industry, what was the pay compared to page rate and mainstream? Were they paying?
They were paying more, but I got to be honest with you, I don't remember. I don't have a clue what I know they were paying me more than my page rate for Marvel and DC, but you know, I think it depended on. I want to say the spot illustrations were probably like for pencil and ink were like, you know, $250 or something like that. I want to say those spreads were probably, well, it's like, I don't know, 600 maybe, something like that, 800. That seems like
that's
maybe
a lot for back in the early.
Well,
2000s.
it may not have been that much, but it was more than whatever my page rate was. Or was it the same? Now I'm wondering. They probably said, "So what's your page rate at DC?" And I told them, like, "Okay, that's what we're paying you." And they may have been, but I wasn't like taking a hit to do the work.
Oh yeah.
So, and that's all, you know, I would have done it anyway, just for the exposure, even if I had, but
yeah, They were huge, and every comic fan was reading, and whatever Rip Wizard said was hot, that became hot, you know.
Right. Exactly. So I was glad to, even kind of after Wizard was sort of trending down, to still get some stuff in there. I was, that was pretty cool. So anyway, let's go back and take a look at why you're here, Jimmy.
Yeah.
Not just to entertain the masses, but to sell them book products.
Yeah.
This is Dragon Rage, the Crown of Fire. Now, give us the elevator pitch. What's this about?
Yeah, so it's about a race of humans that we call the Dragari, and the Dragari, they have the ability to capture the rage of a dragon, and what that means is that they can go in forcefully, they can conquer a dragon and take its life force, its rage, and they can trap it into their weapon, and they can call upon it and wield the powers of that dragon as if it's their own. So these guys are as powerful as dragons. Back in the history of Dragon Rage, the dragons were the guardians of humans, of man, and it was discovered that when a dragon was aging, they lived for a very long time, but when they were finally at the point where they were gonna, eventually, die, they would willingly merge with a human, creating some of the first Dragari. And then a king became corrupt and realized that if he had an army of Dragari, he could become the most powerful ruler over the most powerful kingdom. So he sent out the Dragari. They discovered that they could just go in and if the dragon were to willingly give their rage, it wouldn't make as powerful a Dragari as if they were to go and just forcefully take the rage. That somehow created a more powerful Dragari. So he had the human army go out and hunt down dragons to build an army of Dragari. And now there's a new generation, a new king on the throne who wants to become the most powerful being. He wants to be more powerful than the last remaining dragon, which is the king of dragons that no one can conquer. And so he's learned that if he were to take all the rage, he's hunting down the Dragari and taking their rage, and he's building a crown of fire. So the wielder of the crown of fire can become more powerful than the king of dragons himself. So we start the story with a small group that are trying to prevent that from happening.
So you got a little Game of Thrones in here. You got a little,
Yeah.
you got some Dragon Adventure. You got some, like you said, some
D&D stuff going on. And
yeah,
a lot of magic wielding. He's got some guys, just badass swords, and masculine men, and beautiful, attractive women in there. And it's a good story. A lot of love, betrayal, sabotage. They're
So you're really
battling
saying it's a
power.
romance comic for chicks, is what is basically it's a
And it's a romance novel for dudes. Yeah, it's got a lot of good action in the book. It's definitely influenced by a lot of things. There's people are saying Skyrim. Yeah, definitely Skyrim. I love the game. I love RPGs, JRPGs. The writer of the book, Dave Philpott, he's a big D&D fan. So I've never played D&D, but my influences came from like anime and a lot of video games.
excellent. You got a David Finch cover here. People want to get in on
2
that.
David Finch covers. Yeah. Yeah, Dave was kind enough.
You. This is you. That's you.
That's me
right?
too, yeah.
Then you got the Finch. Now, is there another one on here that I'm not seeing? Or?
Well, it's on the Give Me Everything tier. I don't have it, the large image on there anymore. I had it on there for a while, but then I took it away and said I'm getting rid of that perk because I only have a certain number of boxes that I printed. Then I ordered more boxes, and I put the perk back up, and I'm almost sold out of those boxes now. So that Give Me Everything, to get that special box like the one you showed with the headless horseman. I've got one for Dragon Rage that's like that. That's a custom mailer, and I'm almost sold out. So if people want that Give Me Everything tier, plus the campaign is going to be coming down in just a few weeks. So we're at the very end now. So
yeah, so get in there and back this, you guys, before it's gone. You'll be sorry you miss it. If you miss it, you'll be sorry, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, like
You'll
Aaron
find-
with the wishing he had gotten that Enterprise.
that's
So
right. You just, but
don't be
I've
an
got,
Aaron, guys.
I got the headless horseman though, so that kind of balances out for me.
Yeah.
You'll find the link in the description of this video. Take you right there. Also, don't forget about real quickly my campaign as well. Kit Carter, Planet Doom.
Yeah.
I don't really usually pimp my stuff on my show, but there it is, 64-page graphic novel, 8.5 by 11. So it's larger format, bigger art, fun stuff. You got the hardcover version, you got the softcover version, and you got interior pages. So what more could you possibly want from a comic? Penciled by me, written and penciled by me, inked by the great Matt Ryan, colored by Kelsey Shannon. Of course, you've got the back cover designed by our friend Dan Lawless, doing his saucy babe, kind of 40s or 50s style pinup. Gary Martin contributing a pinup to the gallery section, which is only going to be in the signed in number hardcover, won't be in the soft cover, and some other artwork that'll be in the gallery. You can get t-shirts. You can get an 8.5 by 11 sketchbook that matches perfectly the same size as the graphic novel, that has all the like behind the scenes Kit Carter stuff, development art over the years. And then the big one, well, it's not the big one, but it is a big one, 14 by 30, there I can get clipped again, 14 by 36 insert movie poster sized poster of Kit Carter, Galactic Ranger, Planet Doom. Of course, it's rated PG, so you can bring the whole family. And I'll be working on the final painting here very shortly, as I've been doing other paintings, getting back up to speed since I haven't painted in a while, and I'm about ready to jump in on this one.
Are you going
and get
acrylics?
to the finished art.
Or
What's that?
Are you using acrylics, or is it going to be mixed?
Well, I
media?
was thinking about doing oils, but I've been doing a lot of acrylic lately, and I'm really getting a feel for it. So I may end up doing acrylic, but I haven't made the final decision yet, because I have an oil painting that I'm going to finish this week, see how that goes, see how I feel, and then go for it. So there you have it. So I'll be posting like process videos and stuff on this as well, because this should be a fun thing.
Yeah,
I always wanted. I did a Jaws movie poster. My son talked me into it. It took me years to finally do it. But this will be like my own character on a movie poster. It's pretty cool. So
I like it. I love the classic movie poster design. It's
supposed to be, thank you. It's supposed to be reminiscent of the, 50s B kind of, Barbarella type stuff. So
okay.
we're trying to get that vibe.
You
can also
great.
get
Flash Gordon, Barbarella.
Yeah, exactly.
It's amazing.
Not to be confused with Flesh Gordon. That's a different movie. We got the laser etched.
Yeah, two different films.
We got the laser etched Kit Carter shot glass. It goes with the rest of the shot glasses. Because I have a Wraith of God shot glass, I have a Garbage Man shot glass. Now you have a Kit Carter, so you can just add to the collection. All this stuff is available. You can get add-ons for the Garbage Man trade paperback, Power Cubed trade paperback, the second printing with the new cover of Wraith of God 1 or Wraith of God 2. All covers still available on those while supplies last. So there it is, Jimmy. You'll find the links to both of these campaigns, Jimmy's and mine, in the description of this video. Go there, visit frequently, see if there's something that you might want to get involved in. But now, Jimmy, now we're going to take a look at art. You say you're a guy that's into art.
Yes.
So
yeah.
Let's
fantasy art. I love fantasy art.
Let's take a look. Well, you're going to love this then. We'll see if you're familiar with this guy. Maybe you are, maybe you're not. I try to introduce every week maybe a new guy that people are not familiar with. Not a new guy, but maybe some of the that people aren't readily familiar with, to expand their horizons. So we call this little segment, Who's This Guy? All right, we're going to take a look at Paul Bonner's stuff. Paul Bonner is best known for gaming art, and the Wizards of the Coast, that type of stuff, Dungeons and Dragons kind of stuff. He's exceptional, and the interesting thing about Paul is his technique, which we will talk about as soon as I bring up some of his work. If you're interested, he does have a website, which we'll visit in a few minutes. But he also has this book out, which this is what caught my eye. The Art of Paul Bonner, Out of the Forests, The Art of Paul Bonner. So you see this big
Wow.
bull guy.
Wow.
He draws these really sort of powerful monster type characters. And
That's Greek mythology. That's the one that with the Minotaur in the maze.
there you go. Look at you go.
Wow.
Suddenly Jimmy knows everything. He doesn't know who Hawkeye is, but he knows everything else. It's just blowing my mind, man.
I don't know anything about archeries. Archers are.
But so I saw this in I don't know if it was a Bud Plants catalog or it might have been Stuart Ing's. I saw this and I was like, I don't know who this dude is, but I love this image. So I've got to get this book. And I did. And it blew my mind. And so so that book's out there. The Art of Paul Bonner. It's called Out of the Forests, The Art of Paul Bonner from Titan Books. You can get it just about any place. Well worth the purchase. But check out this artwork. All right. Are you ready to be blown away, Jimmy?
Oh yeah, that cover of the book was amazing.
Look at this.
Oh wow.
Now, I got to meet Paul at the Spectrum show in Kansas City pre-COVID. I went 2 years in a row to that show because I had relatives in the Kansas City area, so I could stay with them, borrow their car, drive into the show, and it was actually, pretty cheap for me to go. And I really wanted to go just because I wanted to meet some of these fantasy artists, guys that I admired. I mean, I made a little bit of money when I was there, but I was there actually to look at artwork and buy artwork.
Wow.
And so I saw Paul Bonner there, and I got to look at some of his paintings. And he does not use oil paints, Jimmy. He uses watercolors.
Really?
I know. And I couldn't even tell by looking at it because he uses them so thick. And I talked to him about it.
Wow.
Now is he Irish or Scottish? Someplace over there. I think he's Irish, but don't quote me on that. But he said growing up, he would see like Frazetta or other, painters doing these oil paintings.
Yeah.
And he didn't know, right? The only thing he said he had access to were watercolors, like tube watercolors, right?
Yeah.
And so he tried to mimic that oil paint look with the watercolors because he figured that's what everybody was using.
He didn't even go gouache or anything? Or?
No, this was he said growing up anyway that he had access. He had watercolors. That's what he had, and so he started developing this oil painting technique with watercolors, basically using them straight out of the tube and probably not diluting them very much.
Wow.
And so he's creating these paintings that look like oil paintings, but they're actually watercolor, which just freaking blows my mind.
It almost looks like he's putting a little bit of colored pencil, like texture, like on the nose of this troll. And
maybe, but I don't know for sure. I looked at a couple of his paintings close up, and I didn't see.
Because it kind of looks like a Drew Struzman technique.
Yeah, right in here. I know what you're saying.
He gets a little highlight in there.
But I honestly think it's all paint. I don't think.
Wow.
I think he's getting that texture out of the paint. But don't quote me on that because obviously, any single painting you can change your mind and do something a little different. I only looked at like one or two of them. I bought some pencil drawings from him because his paintings were, these things are huge. And you can get commissions. I think he does commissions, but they're like in that like $5,000 to $10,000 range, depending on how big.
Just for a head painting of just the
right
single figure or something.
He would do he would do drawings on tissue paper and then transfer them onto the board kind of stuff. And so I bought some of his trolls pretty cheaply, actually.
Wow, and, like actual tissue paper or the vellum?
The vellum stuff.
Oh, okay.
Here's another one. But yeah, I love his colors are so vibrant and his monsters are so cool. Look at this thing down here. I mean, that dragon thing, what is that?
Yeah.
Got a horse down here. His horses are awesome. He's always got these like dwarfish sort of short, muscular barbarian dudes.
Me before I lost weight.
Yeah, exactly. That was Jimmy when he was competing. You and Franco Colombo, man, were in there.
Oh yeah.
But just the the color again and the
wow.
It's like, how do you do that with watercolors, dude? But somehow
he's got algae on the rocks. That's crazy. Or is that like it's like algae on the rocks. It's got this
that red sort of and then look this yellow stuff on here.
Yeah.
But I think honestly, if you go in, and I've never tried it, but if you go in with just straight watercolor and don't really dilute it with much water, you can get it to be more painterly, which is what
But
he's doing. It's just crazy.
how easy is it to work with? I mean, if it's a thicker, how do you work with that? It's a thicker watercolor. Is it going to dry faster? Is it going to be harder to
Yeah, but
mix?
but the thing is, you can always sort of. I would think that on the thicker watercolor, because I know gouache you can reactivate like endlessly. Watercolors tend to stain, right? When you're using, thinner watercolors, they stain the paper, so you can move them around a little bit, but not a great deal after they dry. But if you're putting that thing on like thick, so that it's not just soaked into the paper, you should be able to, add a little water in there and get them to mix, but it's just bizarre to me that the technique that like people like develop on their own out of necessity, and because I'm sure if you went to art school, they would not teach you to use watercolors like this. But when you look at the results, how can you freaking argue with it?
That guy on the horse, though, he has small feet. He has a
Well,
small foot.
they're trolls. They're little, not trolls, but what
Dwarfs.
do you call them? Dwarfs. Thank
Dwarfs.
you. So
Yeah.
don't be criticizing small people for me. That's not like you.
Yeah. I don't want
I would
to
say
hate
that,
my own. Yeah.
yeah, that's right. It's like don't be like that, Jimmy. There's no reason. Let's take a look at a few more pieces of stuff. I just
Oh, damn. Wow. This looks digital.
it ain't though. Look at the you can see the brush strokes on look at that arm there. You can see where the the brush strokes and stuff are here.
Ah, look at the cracks in the elbow. That boy needs lotion. He's got feathers
there too. Yeah.
Wow.
But you can see like the kind of the splotch he goes in and puts to get this kind of texture in here.
Wow. I thought I was crazy with my fur texture in my Dragon Rage. You
Yeah.
guys see in there, I go crazy with the fur texture.
I love how he incorporates these blues like on the knuckles and stuff, and on the eyes, and
to show like more of a worn flesh, more calloused.
yeah. And it's interesting because the great thing about these paintings like this, when you get in real close, you can see how rough it is. But then when you pull back and it gets printed, it just comes together and almost looks photographic,
Yeah. I thought it was digital for a second.
Yeah, well, see, you were wrong.
His anatomy.
You're wrong again, Jimmy.
Another
Jeez.
Hawkeye, But
another Hawkeye moment we can clip.
Yeah. But his anatomy's good too. His figures just look so great and heavy.
Yeah, everything is so thick and powerful, Again, there you go. I just got clipped for that one. But look at these like werewolf things. Look at that face on this dude here. These are it's so cool. So, I mean, most of his art, all the art that I'm familiar with is all sort of fantasy, monsters, things like that. And so if you're into this stuff, he does it better than anybody, in my opinion. Look at those backgrounds. Jeez.
It's got a bird flying in the background in the mountain to the left a little bit. Right there. There's a like a buzzard right below the weapon that the.
Oh yeah, right here.
Yeah. Wow, it's amazing. I mean, just these little details
down here. Yeah, they're coming in here. Look, you can put the shadow down. Or is that another bird? Or is that the shadow?
That's like another bird flying the opposite direction.
Okay. There, right. I got you. Those rocks and everything. Just the texture, the grass. Gee, man, Christmas. Yeah, Spambot says there's no femboys in this guy's world. Absolutely not. Dan Russell says thick and powerful. Aaron talking about the man thing again. Okay. Andy Dalliff says I like women and well-painted monsters. That's the sweet spot.
Oh yeah.
Monsters and hot chicks.
Yeah, that's fantasy. It's fantasy art.
That's right. Well, that's exactly right. That's male heroic fantasy. Save the girl, kill the monster. GJ says, I do enjoy fantasy art as well as much for my love for comic book art. This is amazing. Yes, he is really, really good. And so I encourage you guys to check out his stuff because you'll just continue to blow your mind, man. Is that kind of a 60s thing?
Oh, yeah. You added the man at the end. You'll blow your mind, man.
He has these smaller sketchbooks too that are, if you just want to spend $15 or whatever, you can get these.
Wow.
You can check out like Stuart Ing. That's NG Stuart Ing's books. He's kind of like the newer Bud Plant. Bud Plant really doesn't sell that much stuff anymore. He does, but not the volume that he used to. Stuart has a much broader selection of stuff than like Bud Plant used to have. So he's kind of my go-to for this stuff anymore. But these are great sketchbooks. Get to look at his pencil art.
Yeah, you can see the woman on there. Is she topless? Right below the dragon?
Looks like,
I think
right
I see a nipple.
little booby there.
Yeah.
But she's also faceless.
Oh,
So
she's faceless, dude. I didn't even notice she had no face. I
it was
looking elsewhere.
looking, like, what are you talking about? Face.
Yeah. It's like, it looks
talking
complete to me. All the important parts are there.
And anyway, we'll show you the man himself with his crazy sideburns. He's like, looks like he should be in Greece or something, but there it is, Paul Bonner right there.
He looks like Napoleon or something, you know.
Yeah.
Wow, look at that painting. Jeez.
Yeah, so he just, his color and his monsters are just next level stuff. So anyway, you guys, Paul Bonner, it's pretty easy to spell. Look him up on the old interwebs. Find his website. He does have a website, and check out his stuff. You will not be disappointed. I did, like I said, I bought a few originals from him. They were just pencils, but if I had the money, I would call him up and go, Paul, hook me up with a commission, dude. Here's 10 grand. But
Definitely.
don't really.
He's got the same poster I have right back there. The same Conan by Frank Frazetta.
See, everybody
That's
loves
exact-
everybody loves Frank. Everybody loves Conan the Barbarian.
Oh yeah.
We're gonna do one more thing. We'll take a look at the campaigns in just a minute, but before we head out, but it is time now, Jimmy, for what people come to this show for. Sometimes it's for the guests. Sometimes it's just to eat food.
To watch you eat food. Yeah.
That's right. To watch me eat on camera, because we know that's always a winner. But the real reason everybody comes is for this. Now, I've spent probably a good year now not finding Bigfoot. And we're going to continue on today's episode to not find Bigfoot. But I did find some other stuff. What I decided to do, Jimmy, because when you've been looking for Bigfoot videos and cryptid videos and, sea monster videos and all this kind of stuff, you run out of them. They can't, the people that are producing these videos, they can't keep up with you. And so I kind of have to switch gears once in a while. So we're going to look at actual giant things that we know are real, that are still kind of creepy, but maybe they don't creep us out as much because we know they're real. But let's take a look at a few things here. Now, this isn't what I was going to start with, but I guess there it is. So we're going to start with it anyway. This is one of the world's largest lobsters ever caught. Well, actually, the largest lobster ever caught in Maine, where they do a lot of lobstering. Look at this monster. Look at that thing. Are you freaking kidding me?
It's the Leviathan.
Jimmy, if you pulled that thing on board, what would you do? Would you boil it? What would you throw it back? What would you do?
Oh man, I would like to say I would throw it back into nature, but I think I would I would boil it.
Look at the size of that lobster, baby.
Wow. Jeez.
I mean, if you order that at a restaurant, that's what, like $300 worth of lobster or more, maybe?
That's a whole family right there,
Oh my gosh.
Family meal. Look at that. Oh my God.
That is freaking huge.
Baby got back. I mean, she's got a big tail on her. Wow.
Man. So anyway, there you go. That is the biggest lobster. And you know how we know it's real, Jimmy? Because the photograph isn't blurry. So we know.
Well, I think what happens is the only thing we know is that it's not interdimensional.
Right. Well, that's what everybody keeps telling me. Bigfoot's interdimensional, so he's phasing in and out, and that's why we can't ever get clear shots of him.
Bigfoot might be Hispanic. He might be Mexican, because you try to photograph an illegal crossing that border, it's always blurry. We move too fast. We
never get a good.
You
might be on it. You know what? I never thought of that, but
yeah.
I'm going to look into that. See if I can turn up a little bit more evidence.
Latino.
That theory.
Try speaking Spanish to him, putting out a burrito. That's how you lure Bigfoot.
Now, one thing you don't want someone to tell you is that you've got crabs, and you certainly don't want them to tell you you've got huge crabs. But we're going to take a look at a humongo crab right here. There, look at that guy. Now, these are the ones they're catching, but look at the legs on this thing, and look at how small his pincers are. This is a 33-pounder.
Wow,
Look at that
Starship
thing.
Troopers, man. That's what they can. Sure, that's
I
not a prop from
know.
from
It's
the
like
Starship Troopers.
look, they're playing games with him on
Yeah.
their little fake house. I mean, do you think he's
Wow.
pissed? He's like,
What else would
okay,
you do? These guys are comic fans. That's exactly what we would do if we.
that's
gave us
exactly right. You get a low angle shot of him climbing on the building, and you got your own horror film.
Yeah.
Now, I don't want to say this is is this a spider crab, or someone in the audience at least lie to me to convince me that
It
you know
sounds
what
right
this
based on the legs.
Paul Taylor. Now, Paul Taylor's a biologist, and he says, I'd rather eat lobster. Crabs are a pain in the shell. Angela Curry says, that's a meaty spider. That is, I find them interesting that these particular brand, look at that face on this
Does
dude,
he have
man.
teeth?
I don't know, but something's going on there that's kind of freaking me out. But look how small his pincers are.
Oh
I
yeah,
love
that
this, though. Look at that.
lobsters, can pick on him.
Yeah, exactly. They make fun of him because he has small pincers.
Yeah.
I think. Yeah, that's what I think. It's an Alaska king or a Alaska spider crab, something like that. But oh, there we go. Geek Avenger says it's a spider crab, and it's garbage eating. So they're no good eating. They're just really freaking weird looking, and that's fine. I mean, if you're a monster like that, you don't have to be good eating, but you're there for visual effects, and that is a creepy looking.
They're movie stars. They're they work in
Exactly.
Hollywood. They don't. Yeah, you don't
Yeah.
want to be eating a celebrity.
Exactly. Okay, let's see here.
The long legs are.
Gen X says that's a acheron or acheron crab. I'll take your word for it because you have a little avatar of Mel Gibson there, so I'm on board with you.
And you're Catholic, you don't lie.
And yeah, Angela says, "What crab doesn't eat garbage?" Angela, they meant that eating that crab is garbage, not that the crab eats garbage, but that they don't taste good. I think is what Geek Avenger was trying to say.
Yeah, Angela, you find them in the ocean, not in your garbage cans. Don't worry.
That's right. So if you're finding something in your garbage can, do not eat it.
Yeah.
Not eat it. Yeah, someone thinks that they're here we go. Sequential artist says, strange visitor from another planet. You got to wonder sometimes. I mean, this stuff is it's pretty freaky. Okay, now check this out. Now, this is one of the reasons I'm so skeptical of Bigfoot is because one of the hardest things, the most elusive thing, Jimmy, to catch in the ocean that we're aware of is the giant squid. And we're about to see, they actually captured it. This is a 20-footer. It's hard to tell because you don't have any frame of reference, but they say this is a 20-footer. Now here's the oceanographer, biologist person describing what's happening here.
I like how she's doing the hand gestures.
She created that little thing that the squid is attacking is like a fake jellyfish that they made that has the lights and everything like a jellyfish. And so they put it down there like 6,000 feet or something, whatever it is. And it attracts these squids to attack it. And that's how they get these groovy photos.
I wonder if that's where they got the idea from in the Apple Plus TV show called Monarch, where they chase the kaiju, the titans from Godzilla. They use a device like this in the show where they put the device like this down in the water and they lure Godzilla. He's attracted to it because it has some kind of like radiation emanating from it or something.
Interesting. I wonder.
Yeah, it's almost very similar. It's
so
crazy.
Science fiction becoming actual science.
Yeah.
So this is so this one right here, they actually this might be something you're familiar with. They actually shot this in the Gulf of Mexico. So
wow.
This one is in Japan, but the first one was they got the Gulf of Mexico, which they said was the first photographs they got of a giant squid in American water. So I guess the water in the Gulf of Mexico is considered American territory, at least.
Yeah, it's American territory.
But yeah, so there you go.
Cancun or something, maybe.
Yeah.
Is that what they're...
So you can find something 6,000 feet underwater in the ocean, but we can't find a 10-foot tall ape walking around the Pacific Northwest. Come on, people.
Well, even this footage, if you think about it, I mean, it is pixelated. It's pretty dark.
Yeah, but you can still tell what it is.
Well, I mean, you don't really get any detail, but yeah, I guess because we know the squid.
This is
I guess.
better. This one's
Yeah.
better. You can see his eye right there. Right there. See his eye right there?
Oh yeah.
At the top left.
Wow.
Yeah.
Dude, that is a huge eye. I mean, for a 20-foot creature.
Well, you know, they say these things get up to like 65 feet long, and they judge that by the scars they leave on those sperm whales that they attack, or the sperm whales attack
them. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
wow.
Anyway, so there you go. You got them in the Gulf of Mexico, Jimmy, as well as Japan. So
yeah, that's why we don't go swimming in the Gulf of Mexico. We swim in the Rio Grande. You know. We swim across the Rio Grande. Yeah.
That's right. Well, you know, you do what you got to do.
There's no giant squids there. You know.
All right, check this out. This is a gigantic. I think this is like Singapore or something, but this is look at the size of the stingray. Are you freaking kidding me? This thing is almost 8 feet across.
Whoa! And they're playing with the tail. Okay, so
yeah, I know.
Okay.
What are you, an idiot?
Yeah.
How big do you think the stinger is on that thing? Now, here's somebody else saying, "Oh yeah, our stinger is as big as yours," but I don't know if it is. Look at this thing.
Wow. And some of these footages, there's only one guy holding the tail. And they're so calm with it. I mean, I'm pretty sure if it wanted to, I mean, that tail could really just whip around.
You would think.
Pierce through these people. Yeah.
You would think. Now, when I went on a Disney cruise, we had this thing. Look at his eyes, man. Those eyes are cool. And then they let him back go. They let him go in the river. So they caught him in some river, but it must have some sort of saltwater feed into it. I don't know why this would be a freshwater thing. But when we went to Disney has its own little island on their cruises called Castaway Key, and you could swim with the stingrays. Now they despined them, thankfully, because we would all be dead otherwise. So me and my son went out there, and we actually got to pet and feed these stingrays, and they feel they're so smooth.
Wow.
But that's a little bigger than I would care to wrestle with.
The head and the shape of this. I don't know if you remember the movie from the 1990s or 93. It was Independence Day.
Yes.
And the way the alien design right there, that's what the head of the alien looked like in Independence Day.
That's right. They did. They look like big old stingrays.
Yeah.
But that's pretty cool. 8-footer, man. I've never seen. I mean, like manta rays get really, really big, but stingrays, I didn't realize they could get that big. But
it's amazing that this is in nature. You know, this is real. It's alive. And
that's right. Unlike Bigfoot, for example. But we're still hoping for proof, though, Billy, that Bigfoot will show up.
Maybe Bigfoot's extinct. Maybe there was at one point.
Well, they keep shooting movies. Are you saying all these people are making fake videos? I mean, that's what I'm saying. But
we still making movies of dinosaurs. You know. I mean, oh, you mean people that are home movies that they're saying they're claiming have captured evidence?
Okay, now you scared Jody. He's always on my case because he's a believer in cryptids, and he's a cryptozoologist, and he gets on my case because I'm so cynical about Bigfoot. But he's saying these are not the eyes. Now wait a minute. Are you telling me? I mean, those look like vents there. I get it, but doesn't that look like an eye right there?
That is an eye. I guess
that looks like an eye to me.
Yeah, the other port below it.
Come on, Jody. Are you sure that's not his eye? That looks like an eye to me.
That looks like a gill right behind the eye.
Yeah, I mean, those are the vents right there, but that looks like an eye right there.
Yeah, because this thing can't be blind.
I want some verification here.
Why are the eyes on the top like that? So it must burrow at the bottom of the ocean to catch its prey.
You would think. Yeah,
they bury itself under the sand.
Yeah. You scared Jody, says Aaron. You practically are a Bigfoot. Okay, this is for you. Okay, so
a Bigfoot.
I can only take so much before I have to. I lash out. Okay, let's see. Is anybody giving me? They're saying a gill eye, but are you talking? Well, yeah, but are we talking about? What are we talking about here? Are we talking about this or this? Because that's obviously his gills or his vents or whatever. But come on, Paul? What is that? Is that his eye? Someone verify this for me. What is that? That's his eye. I think that's his eye. Jimmy and I are saying that's his eye.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's how they catch their prey. They kind of.
Paul's a biologist. He says it looks like an eye. Thanks, Paul. Thank you for your expert opinion.
Yeah. If it blinks, it's an eye. You know.
Okay. All right. Well, you scared Jody saying no. Paul's saying it looks like an eye to me. Okay, I'm going to show you. This is a terrifying video, and I'm being totally serious. This freaks me out every time I see this.
Yeah.
Now I had to do a little. This appeared like on something called Nature or something or other, and it's a TikTok video. And I'm not on
Nature
TikTok.
something or other. My favorite channel.
Oh, okay. Yeah, exactly. And so this showed up on Twitter, but it's actually from a TikTok video. And I'm not on TikTok because I do not support the Chi-Coms.
Because you're not a 15-year-old girl.
That's right. But I snuck on and stole this video off of TikTok, getting like a temporary pass or something, because this is freaking horrifying to me. This is in the good old US of A. Now check this out. Oops, I just hit the wrong button. Bear with me. Here we go. All right. Do you see this?
Oh,
you see
my
what's
God.
working under the, okay.
Yeah. Wow.
Dude, look at this.
Wow.
Look when he gets closer now. Dude, what if he slipped and fell in? Look at the eyes on this thing.
Wow.
Are you kidding me? Look at the size of that.
Who flushed that down the toilet?
Dude, that is not a crocodile. That is an alligator. And supposedly alligators don't get any bigger than like 15 feet is like the max.
Yeah.
This thing looks like a freaking gigantic monster.
Yeah.
That is horrifying.
That's a water dragon. That looks like a kaiju or something.
Dude, would you stand that close to just for that shot?
I
What if
bet
he
you anything in that
fell?
country? In that country, there's no railing right over that. I think they're standing over that metal dome or whatever that is. That is insane. The eyes, though, I have to say, the eyes look oddly positioned too. They're not on the side of the head. They're directly. Is that the eyes?
Well, I was wondering that too, but I think that might be his eye there.
Okay, yeah, I was going to say
that might be a reflection.
Yeah,
but it still looks freaky.
Because predators, we have our eyes directly in the front for the hunt, but I know alligators have them they're on the side like that.
Well, Paul Taylor says, "Where is that so I can not go there?" Well, judging by this, it looks like an American alligator to me because the nose is rounded.
Yeah.
And it looks like an alligator. So it's not a crocodile. So we're assuming it's in the US. And because you've got the aluminum siding here rusting out, that means it's white trash. So we're probably in Florida or Louisiana, it would be my guess. But how big do you think that thing is? That's got to be at least like 12 feet and maybe bigger. Because the head on that thing is humongous. That thing would swallow you whole, man.
Yeah, I wonder if you can tell just based by the teeth. Like if the teeth itself, the wear and tear on it can tell you how old that alligator is. You know?
Oh my gosh. Dude, I would just, we used to see, when I lived in Florida, there was this lake by our house where they had a trail and like picnic tables and stuff. And you could go walk around the park and the picnic tables were close to the bank of the lake. And there was always an alligator like by the picnic table, like maybe 6 feet out in the water because waiting for scraps or whatever.
Yeah.
But nothing that big, like 6-footers, things like that.
Wow, that's still big. I mean,
well, yeah, but not like
make it sound like it's a puppy,
Right, exactly.
It's a goldfish.
Okay,
but, yeah,
that'll eat your dog, but it's probably not going to eat you. This would eat you.
Oh yeah, this thing would. I mean, once it gets you and goes in a death row with you, forget it.
Oh my gosh.
That is crazy. And it looks like you could easily just step right in that water. It didn't look
I
like
know. You could trip and slip on that white trash aluminum and you're just right down the gullet of that thing. It's all over, baby.
White trash roofing.
Yes, exactly. They used it. It was his house. It's now underwater, Oh my gosh. Pastmaster Dan says, if you count the rings around their butthole, you can tell how old they are. I don't think that's actually true.
If you stick your finger in there. Yeah.
Paul Taylor, of course, he wants us to visualize. It's more fun. It'll grab you, drag you to the bottom and drown you, then eat you. Right. So
Yeah, kind of like the
Um,
anaconda would wrap itself and suffocate you before swallowing you whole.
yeah. Well, at least you don't have to be eaten alive. I guess that, I don't know.
That's true.
Brian Norton from
Very simple.
Japan is calling me an elitist because I'm referring to my friends down south as white trash. But, you know, it is what it is. Yeah, Creative Face saying they can launch. That's what I'm saying. That thing could strike out of that water. That guy's getting awfully close for a gator that big just to get a shot.
Yeah, I mean, what do you think they could leap at least, 4 feet in distance? I mean, they catch like antelope when they're drinking in the water.
Well, yeah, the crocs do. Heck yeah, they do. They're amazing.
Yeah, so an alligator, I would imagine.
Daniel Russell says, so are you calling your chat white trash? No, Daniel, I'm just calling you white trash. The rest of the chat is fine. No,
Yeah.
I'm not calling anybody white trash. I'm just saying that is a white trashy area. I'm not saying
You gotta
anybody
forgive
necessarily live in
Aaron,
that.
Daniel. Since he's got his double wide trailer now, he's in a whole new tax bracket. He looks down on a single wide trailer, people.
All right, we have one more mysterious thing. I'm going to throw this out to you, Jimmy, see what you think. My daughter came home from college with a theory.
Oh.
And here we go. And it fits right in with Bigfoot. Okay, this is a picture of Helen Keller. Now, we all know the story of Helen Keller, who caught a sickness disease when she was 19 months old, lost her sight and her hearing. And of course, we all know about the movie, The Miracle Worker, with Anne Bancroft and Sam Wojcicki's mom, Patty Duke, playing Helen Keller. So my daughter comes in and she says, I think Helen Keller is a fake. And I'm like, what? She goes, how could you be blind and deaf and learn anything? What, you have no frame of reference for anything. It's impossible. Helen Keller's a fake. And so that's going around the house. And I said, do you believe in the moon landing? Do you think the earth is flat? And she was like, no, but Helen Keller's a fake. And all of her friends, and apparently that's a thing now, that Helen Keller is a fake, because no one can imagine how a person that was blind and deaf be able to learn anything, because they have no, basically, other than sense of touch and smell, you've got, how can you communicate? How could you learn communication? And I said, that's why the movie's called The Miracle Worker. Okay. That's why they named the movie The Miracle Worker, because it's a miracle. And no. Here we go. Look at this. Aldion saying Aaron's daughter's right. See?
Well, I mean, the human brain itself is very complex. I mean, it's an amazing design, So I would think there would be some things that you could still learn to do.
Well, you'd have to be. The teacher would have to be so innovative, and apparently was.
Yeah.
And see, I'm not a disbeliever in Helen Keller, but my daughter, this new generation, Jimmy, they just no respect for their elders. Andy Dolph saying big conspiracy that she was a fraud. See, look what's going around the internet. This is what happens with the internet.
She looks like she has great motor skills, though. I mean, look at that. She's able to grab the rose, pull it to her nose and nostril. I mean, that's excellent motor skills.
Now, see. Interesting.
And who did her hair and her makeup? I mean, wow. I mean,
Creative Face saying you learn through touch. So
I learned through touch.
Is there film footage of Helen Keller? Yeah, but it's all blurry. That's the problem.
Oh, yeah, she's an interdimensional being. So.
She actually died. She lived to 1960s, I think. She was born in 1880, I think.
Oh, my God.
She lived to be into her 80s. Yeah, Marcus Killer would say, Tommy, can you hear me? Of course, referring to the Who's rock opera, Tommy, where that deaf, dumb, blind kid sure could play a mean pinball. So, there's something there, maybe. They're saying that maybe that she's real, or that's true, but maybe exaggerated a little bit.
That's what I would think. I would think, stories become embellished, over time.
Geek Adventure for $5. My first super chat of the day. All this work in just one super chat. Thank you, Geek. $5. Helen's not a fake, but would make the perfect Democrat. Oh, well, there you have it. Mr. Solomon says there is a serious question as to whether her nurse exaggerated, like the fraud of facilitated communication. I got you.
Speaking of how long she lived, did you know that there is a person right now living that is 117 years old, and it's documented. You can Google it. The oldest living person. She lives here in Texas. She's
Wow.
117 years old. I think she's
She's
African
probably been
American.
drinking beer and smoking cigars her whole life too.
Oh
probably.
yeah, yeah.
That's
she's
usually they
been-
find these old people and they're like, yeah, I drank Mountain Dew, and you're just like, whatever.
yeah, these centurions or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, Snake says Shane Davis doesn't believe in Anne Frank. So I guess there's like a lot of this conspiracy stuff going around these days. B-Spin says Stephen Hawking was a huge hoax. Look at this. See, people are going nuts here. Paul Taylor for Canadian, $10. Thank you, Paul. He says, quit whining, Aaron. Hi, Jimmy. Looking forward to your book. Do you have a release date on it yet?
I've got 4 more pages to complete to ink. Well, a total of 6 pages. 2 others that need just a little tweaking, and then I'm done. I'm a pretty fast artist. So I was thinking about 2 weeks, I'll be done. Then I'll be lettering the book, getting it ready for pre-press and off
There
to
you
the printer.
go.
Takes about 2 weeks to get back from the printer. So about a month.
Knocking on the door, man. You're right there.
Yeah, I should be starting fulfillment 4 to 6 weeks.
I'm halfway done with Kit Carter. There's always that nice feeling when you're like, all right, I'm on the downslope here now. I've got less pages to do than I've already done. So that's
Except when you're on that downslope in life, when you cross that mid mark. Like,
I know I've done that as well too. I'm kind of sliding down. I'm sliding into the mouth of that giant gator, and I'm like clutching dirt, and it's just crumbling underneath.
Meanwhile, I'm hopping on the tin on it dangerously.
Aldion wants to know, wait a minute, isn't Art Taber older than 117? It could be, but we can't verify anything. He keeps using the Lazarus pit to rejuvenate himself. So we don't really know how old he is. That's the scary thing.
Yeah.
Well, I would pretty much guarantee you, Jimmy, at this point that Ethan is streaming against us since our numbers dropped drastically here in the last about 45 minutes. So let's take a look at your campaign 1 last time before we wrap this bad boy up.
Yeah, he sent us a link. He put a link in the room.
Oh, and he's trash casting.
Oh, is that what?
Yeah,
he's inviting everybody to trash cast.
I don't think he doesn't invite many people on the old trash cast.
Mm-mm.
Okay, so there you go. The Dragon Rage, the Crown of Fire Dragon Adventure. A little bit of nudity, a little bit of adult content, a lot of violence,
some adult language in there.
People fighting for power in the kingdom, death, dismemberment, just all sorts of great, crazy stuff. So make sure that you back this bad boy. You'll find a link in the description of the video. And you also know, as Jimmy said, that he's knocking on the door. He's almost done. So you won't have to wait too long.
Yeah. And every page, every panel, I've not fatigued. I've given 117%.
Right.
But if you scroll down,
more than 110.
Tell me what you think, Aaron. And when you scroll down, there's a picture of a king, and he's got like this fur around his neck. We were talking about the fur textures earlier. Tell me what you think of the fur texture that I did in pen and ink. It's further. It's one of the last images of the. It's right there.
Oh, look at that!
See that top panel, the guy, the bald-headed guy. What do you
look at you?
And that guy. What do you think of those?
I like it. You could almost touch it. You feel like you could. It's got some nice volume. Very nice.
So I'm collecting a bunch of Chihuahuas, guys, preferably long-haired Chihuahuas.
Is this going to turn into like 101 Dalmatians?
Yeah, I want 101 Chihuahuas, guys. I'm doing the Latin version. So.
Oh my goodness!
I'm gonna make this coat.
That's right. Daniel Russell for $1.99. Here's some white trash money. Thank you so much for that. Because the thing is, all money spends the same, and I'm sure Indiegogo not Indiegogo. YouTube will be very happy to take that money because they don't give it to me. Now they do take a big chunk. I do get some, but thank you guys. I appreciate it very much, Daniel. So there you have it, guys. That's Jimmy Reyes's Dragon Rage. You'll find the link in the description of this video. It'll take you right there so you can back it. You don't want to miss out. He's getting it almost done. It's almost done, so you won't have to wait too much longer. Anyway, there you have it, folks. That's the show for today. I want to thank Jimmy Reyes for coming in and co-hosting with me today. We had great fun looking at artwork and strange creatures that actually do exist in the world and in our campaign. So
you host one of the best shows, man, and I'm honored to be here. Thanks for letting me hang out
thank
for
you,
a little
Jimmy.
bit.
I appreciate it very much. It's guests like you that make it a fun time. So I'm usually too lazy to invite anybody on, but if you contact me, I'm usually agreeable enough to let you on. So, and it went well. It went great. Glad to have you. Thank you for taking the time. Everybody, thank you for the super chats. Thank you guys in the chat for joining me. Can't do it without you. I really appreciate your showing up every week. And remember, we've got Kings tomorrow night, Professionals on Tuesday night. Graham will be hosting this week. And then, of course, on Wednesday, the best draw stream on the interwebs. We like to call it Graybeard Studio. So you want to check that out Wednesday afternoon, 2 o'clock, right here on this channel. So until then, folks, till we meet again, have fun, enjoy the rest of your weekend, and we will see you soon right here on Aaron Live. Good night, everybody.